Hi, Angela.
Hi.
I can't believe we're doing this on Saturday. What have we done?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
I'm glad that we are.
It's our day
That's
off.
nice. I didn't want to wait a whole weekend before we kept talking about this shit. Yesterday we read Sarowitz's deposition, or at least what Wayfair has decided to release of Sarowitz's deposition.
In their summary
And it
judgment
is
motion.
not great for them. I don't understand.
I didn't find it to be very helpful in getting their case basically dismissed, or getting her case dismissed, which is what they're asking.
I think what a lot of people are sharing online about that deposition that we read yesterday. Whoops. Sorry.
It's kind of every day now that you do that, which is fine.
I know.
I think it's just we should actually maybe tie it into something from now on.
It's 6
Like,
p.m.
Angela's,
is what that means.
It's 6 o'clock.
What a lot of people are sharing online about the Sarowitz deposition is that that bit that he talks about how, yes, I know it was a closed set to closed to non-essential people. And while I am technically a non-essential person, since I paid for everything, I am entitled to access whatever the fuck I want. Like, I just think that this is fundamentally a flaw with the class divide, where there's rich people who do believe that they are entitled to whatever the fuck they want because they have money.
Yeah.
So he paid for a set, and so it means that he doesn't have to respect anybody on it. That he doesn't have to respect the rules that his own people that working for his own business put forward.
Yeah.
Because he's the fucking head honcho.
Mm-hmm.
The head honcho who simultaneously doesn't know shit about what happens at all. Can't answer any of those questions.
Yeah.
So it's like he's not the authority figure. And I don't know why these people think that the rules don't apply to them. It's just infuriating. But it doesn't make them look good, is my point.
I agree. It doesn't. Pulling it back because that's right. Tanner's here because he's not working today.
Oh, yay.
Tanner is here on the weekend.
Tanner
he
gets to
he showed
hear
up. He
us.
said, "It's the weekend," and I wasn't sure if he was like, "Guys,
Don't you know?
I think they're starting to
They're losing it.
get a little too crazy around here." It is the weekend. We're having the special weekend edition of Angela's going to read for us this evening, Jamey Heath. We're also going to talk about some other stuff. I actually wanted to start a little bit with this whole Kiss video, which is the big, to do. And, we've had a few comments on our last live regarding the Kiss, and truthfully, I wasn't sure how to process it. I was still processing it at the time.
You want to specify the Kiss?
I will. Trying to figure out what it is. And yeah, the Kiss is, of course, you guys, I'm sure have seen the video, but, it's the scene where she initiates a kiss in a hallway in a hospital, where there's dialogue, there's blocking. It's a full
the scene
fledged
is
out
that he's at
scene.
work. She surprises him at work. She greets him. She goes up to him and greets him with a kiss, and then says something to him. So it's just like they're playing a couple in a movie, and so you'd think that they would greet each other with a kiss.
So the narrative around this thing right now is that the kiss was improvised by Blake Lively. There is no clarity at all whatsoever whether or not they spoke about the kiss beforehand. Apparently, this kiss is not in the screenplay. I have not seen proof that it's not in the screenplay. That doesn't mean it is in the screenplay, of course. So, the claim is that this was an improvised kiss by Blake Lively. And so a couple of people have showed up in our comments and they said shit like, "This is SA to me," and of course it's not. It's amazing how quickly people. First of all, you can see that it's a peck.
Well, it would if he complained about it. If he felt like
No,
it
it
was a
wouldn't be.
violation of his personal space, and he felt like he had been violated somehow, then yeah, sure. I mean, unwanted physical contact.
Well, I don't agree with
characterized
you.
as-
I won't agree with that. And the reason I won't agree with that is because it's very clearly, contextually, in character. It's non-harassing. There's nothing gross about it. It is a peck on the lips that you would expect to people who
We're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. If he complained about it, then it's an issue.
No, I'm saying if he complained about it, it's not an issue. What I'm saying is if he complained about it, how you're supposed to conduct an investigation?
Yeah.
So I would conduct an investigation as a producer. I'd be like, let's investigate.
Exactly.
Was this inappropriate? And then I would look at the if I was probably already there, right? But I would look at the actual shot, and I would see whether or not there was anything that I felt would be deemed sexual assault or sexual harassment. My result of that would be 100% no. And then I would say, however, if you're going to do something like that, please discuss it ahead of time. And because I would clearly see that Blake Lively was in character, was zipping through the scene, was doing her job. I would see that clearly. But, and this is where I want to go with this, and this is where I'm very interested in your feedback. So thank you for hanging in there. If it's proven that she did improvise, that she did throw that kiss in without anybody knowing ahead of time that it was coming, then she did create a defense, I believe, for Justin Baldoni on improvisation around, mildly intimate interactions, such as perhaps kissing and the kind of stuff we saw in the slow dance. I think it defends the slow dance. And when you look at the two contextually, I think a reasonable mind would look at that. So if it gets to the jury, I still think that they still have an advantage, because I think that it's very clearly contextually one where the woman is fending off the man, and the other where somebody's zipping through a hallway in a scene that has dialogue. And
here's why I disagree. I'm
leaving you.
Huh? I'm kidding. He's had he hasn't mentioned this. I think he even had an amended complaint, so he had 2 shots to make an argument after Blake Lively filed hers and he heard everything she had to say.
Yeah.
And he filed his lawsuit.
Yes.
And I think he amended it. I can't remember because it's been dismissed for so long.
Yeah.
But he hasn't mentioned this scene. He said that there were previous times, right? He's very vague. So he hasn't mentioned this scene. I don't know whether he had this scene in mind, the one that we're talking about in the hallway in the hospital.
Yes.
I want to know why all of a sudden that's something he feels like is relevant, but he didn't want to bring it up in the lawsuit that he.
It's relevant if he remembers. So as you go through.
Okay, but let me just finish because I had a lot to say. Not that any of it's important, but I was also thinking I need to have more information before I pass judgment on this, because you're saying that it sort of defends the dance scene, but I know that the dance scene happened on May 23rd. And May 23rd was a really long day. She had a very harrowing experience. The day before was the birthing scene, where she obviously had this conflict that she is reported about and spoken about at length during the birthing scene, the whole fiasco. And then on the 23rd, that's when Jamey Heath is showing the phone interface with a nude woman on it. And so that was some sort of disagreement or conflict or whatever. And then the dance scene is at the very end of a long day, right? So that's on the 23rd. If this hospital corridor scene where she gives him a little peck in greeting, if that happened early on in the photo in the film shoot, before she experienced what she determines to feel like sexual harassment, then I can understand why she would change her tune with him and want more physical space. If that occurred before she felt physically disrespected by him, then it doesn't explain anything.
Well, it does. You're right, and I think that if she can prove that if that thing happened, if that peck happened in the very say the first week or something,
right,
and or before any real red flags were up for her, and then progressively things got worse, and we end up in the situation late in May with Baldoni sniffing and trying to get kisses.
I know. You could tell that she was definitely bummed about the dance scene. So I don't understand if this had possibly been filmed after that. I don't know how.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if she can prove that, then maybe she can counter that defense. I think it still gives them the defense I think that it doesn't matter when Blake Lively kissed him. If she kissed him improvisationally, and what I saw was definitely nothing inappropriate, definitely in character. And there's a big difference from what I saw in the slow dance scene. In the slow dance scene, he's also a director. So it's a lot messier. That scene's a lot messier. Whereas this scene, she's very clearly playing her character, going through the scene. It's dialogue, it's got dialogue. It's a full scene. This isn't a 2-second MOS shot where he's trying to get a grope in.
Yeah. Also,
so they're very different, but the problem with them is the similarity is fundamentally the same. And as a fundamental similarity, and if our scientists said they think that she thinks that they're trying to create a false equivalence. It's an interesting phrase, false equivalence, but the problem is that it's not false if she improvised a kiss, and it truly was an improvised kiss, then it at least gives them a defense that was allowed, that he could at any point, unless it was otherwise, de-established, in other words, or removed, that permission removed, unless there was like, you know what, let's not do that again, conversation,
Also,
either by him or her.
Also, an improvised kiss does not mean that she didn't have prior consent from him. You
Yeah.
know? It doesn't matter if it's improvised. If he knows about it in advance, that's still prior approval of intimate contact.
Yeah.
Right? For the,
Yes.
like that would be following the rules. That's exactly what everybody's expected to do on a film where you're playing romantic partners.
Yes.
Yes. So just because he's saying, I think his words are selectively chosen. I think that he's being deliberately vague because we don't have the full picture. So he could be not vague. We could have every detail, He could say it was that she didn't have prior consent for that kiss. He could say that she didn't have prior consent or approval, or it wasn't scripted.
Well, they are saying
it was a complete surprise.
They are saying it was unscripted at the very least.
Yeah, okay.
But I haven't seen the actual language. Have you seen the actual language?
Unscripted or improvised does not mean that she didn't have prior consent from him.
I agree. I told you, it's if. There's the if.
That's what I'm saying.
She has to. If they had the conversation beforehand and he knew the kiss was coming, then it's perfectly. There's nothing. There's absolutely zero going on, and there is no establishment of anything other than a permission-based situation around those types of intimacies. This is what I'm trying to say, Angela, because if that didn't happen, then it doesn't matter that, it doesn't matter what happened, what eroded along the way. It doesn't matter that
he didn't complain, and now all of a sudden it's relevant?
No. That's because I think what's happening is a lot of people who are maybe on the Blake Lively side of things might be taking this, or let me put it differently. The Baldoni fans, they want to talk about it as being an SH or an SA. They want to try to project onto Blake Lively some kind of offense. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is this is being introduced as a defense. What they're saying is, with this piece, isn't that Blake Lively did something, unless you want to play the if-then game. What they're actually saying is there was an established relationship, understanding in their professional relationship.
Except they're not saying that. In the text, in the context, in the filings where we read this, they're saying, she is saying that Justin Baldoni improvised unwanted kissing in scenes, but she also improvised unwanted.
That's exactly what I just said. Yeah. I literally said that they're establishing the improvisational permission for this to happen. And if it's right, she defends it. I mean, they defend it. If they're right, this is a defense by them, in my opinion. As a layman, they defend it.
I just feel like it's a little bit exhausting how Justin Baldoni's filings are always so vague, and that you have to really scrutinize all of the evidence that he provides, because you're like, okay, well, this evidence doesn't match the claim at all. And in fact, a lot of the evidence was completely the opposite of his claim.
So our scientist is saying
I'm constantly having to do this with all the Justin Baldoni's fucking side of shit. And what I'm doing now with this thing is I'm withholding any of my opinion because I don't have enough information. He hasn't fucking provided it again. Cool. Like everything else he's always claimed.
Oh, cool. So our scientist is saying the actual language is unscripted. And so if that's true, I haven't read it, and I certainly have no reason not to believe our scientists, but just for the sake of being reasonably neutral.
It's an interesting use of words.
If it is unscripted, then to me that tells me that that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
That does not mean that was an a fully improvised moment.
It doesn't mean that she was like, hey, before they started rolling, that she wasn't like, what if I greet you and I make a little kiss on your face and then I say my lines? Like, is that okay, director? Like, he's not saying that didn't happen.
He may have even suggested it. So either one of those things could have happened if the words they're using is unscripted. All I'm telling you is that I feel fairly strongly that if she introduced that kiss without any prior consent, then he's got a defense. But he's only got a defense on one thing. That doesn't.
Yeah, but see, he doesn't say that.
I'm saying it's
if that's what
then.
okay, but listen, if that's what it was, why wouldn't he fucking say it? Just like I'm saying, like, why would he bring this up now, so late, when he had a whole lawsuit he was trying to defend?
Well, we're going to hear their response. We're going to hear their response. They're going to respond to that. They see it. It's all over the internet. Yeah. There's going to be a fucking response to that. Yeah. My suspicion is that the response is going to be that prior to the scene, Blake Lively asked, or prior to the scene, Justin Baldoni said, hey, maybe give me a peck or something, like, the way nothing, just a peck. Like, there's going to be some kind of... Yeah. That's how I see it.
Also, even if this her claim of unwanted kissing falls apart for some reason,
Yes.
that is like just one of very many violations on that fucking film set that they refuse to investigate
Yes.
and refuse to address, according to their own, as we've seen, their own anti-harassment policy.
But I do want to address, like, the whole like kiss thing is, it can't be SA, it can't be SH. He definitely didn't complain about it. There's been no word of it until now as it being some kind of an inappropriate act by her. We see it in context. It's clearly nothing of the two. So I hope that people will start, getting real with what's really on the footage, which is the only possible potential evidence that it brings to or that it bears is whether or not she had, by her own actions, or by what they would call in the state of California, a meeting of the minds. Because if she did that improvisationally and he accepted it, and there was no talk about it, like, hey, don't do that, or why would you do something like that, or that wasn't in the script, what the fuck? Like, if none of that happened, then that constitutes a meeting of the minds. That means they've got an agreement, and that agreement, is binding.
All Scientist also says the kiss happened in multiple takes. So did he not fucking speak up for himself?
No, I'm saying it wasn't a problem. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that they're saying that there's an agreement on the table if it's only
fishy,
if,
dude.
but
Like,
that can only happen if she absolutely did not, or they absolutely did not discuss it.
If we were dealing with like fucking normal people, bro, we wouldn't have to scrutinize this much. They would just present their case very clearly.
That's not true. Everybody
like,
who
if I
puts
have to fucking ask questions, they're not doing their job right.
Well, actually, that's exactly what they want you to do. Especially if they're
it's trickery, and I don't like it.
Especially if they're defending themselves from charges, from accusations. And so if there's all these allegations against you, you're gonna put the facts out in a way that tries to defend yourself from them, if you're not going to just admit to them, or if that's or settle or whatever.
A Scientist said also, in the dance scene, she clearly communicated that she did not consent to kissing.
Correct.
And he kept pushing in for a kiss. And so if this happened, if this kiss in the hallway in the hospital happened in multiple takes, and he never fucking spoke up as the director and her scene partner, that's on him, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I appreciate you both saying that, but I don't feel the same way. If the one happened, then he can make the argument that this scene required that kind of character and his idea as a director. Like, it's just too easy. Pardon me. It's too easy for him to say, look, man, that was the scene. She knew that going in. We did the scene. We walked away. You can see at the end, we clearly part ways. We're not interested in each other one bit. Like, you can turn the facts, you can turn the footage into your own story.
Yeah.
When there's new information. If that information isn't there, then it is what it is. And it doesn't really change the light for me. And I've watched that dance video a couple of times. I've done two pretty long videos, one with you on it, and I feel the very same about that video today as I did before this kiss dropped. The only thing it does is it gives him a defense. It doesn't mean that he didn't do what he did in that video. It doesn't mean that she didn't feel the way she felt during that video. We know that video is a 2-second clip in a montage. And we know that, and we did read the script, and know that the script didn't call for any of what we saw through that 10, 12 minutes of video. So we know, I mean, like I said, the discerning mind is going to be able to see everything for what it actually is. But that is not how the law works. The law works with establishing something. So if there's an agreement and there's a meeting of the minds, and then that's what's going to prevail almost all the time in a court. In my opinion. Who am I? Fucking nobody. I have not passed any bar whatsoever unless it's like made of chocolate.
Cosmic Urgency's with us. Said, "Oh, hello on a Saturday. Is the whole live going to be Baldively?"
Baldively. See, you should write for the show.
Yes.
Today is Jamey Heath's entire depo.
This whole live is going to be Baldively. I apologize.
Well, I think it's a good thing, because, like, maybe that does mean that we can open up the show a little bit and get more stuff in.
One of the reasons why I wanted to do a Saturday on Baldively is that we then maybe on Monday we can talk about other shit.
The Friday, and we may not even do the full 2 hours today. We'll do whatever, until we're exhausted, I guess. But Friday, man, there was like so many things happening. Like raccoons, city raccoons are, according to science, they're becoming pet-like.
Okay, what's Raccoon City?
City raccoons.
City raccoons.
Raccoons that live in cities
are becoming more pet-like.
Yeah, they're becoming more pet-like. They're
What does
like
that mean?
evolving into pets.
Okay, but what does pet-like mean?
Well, I haven't read the full article yet, but they're actually changing physically.
What?
And they're looking like pets. They're behaving.
Okay, you're
going to
read
pets.
that before Monday. That's your assignment.
Isn't that a crazy story?
Yes.
That was Friday. That dropped on Friday, kids.
Oh yeah, and also the White House is like reeling.
Oh, the White House is just spinning like a top.
But we're not talking about that today. Today we're talking about depositions.
There's so much going on.
Okay, shall
so
I?
Cosmic Urgency, I am with you. I don't know. You probably have already left. He's like, oh, and he just spun out. But if you
Okay.
didn't spin out, and by the way, I'll just say for the record, because I'm going over the last couple of lives, which have been they're really entertaining lives. I mean, you hang out, bro. This is a really interesting story. I'll tell you what, man. Junkyard. Is it Junkyard? Junk Farm?
The Junk Farm.
The Junk Farm. You know the Junk Farm?
Yeah.
Love this dude. He comes by every now and again. He hangs out with us. He's a cool ass motherfucker from Nevada. And I know this because I went and finally clicked on his channel and I subscribed. He's a dope ass dude. And anyway, he wrote out his little conspiracy, which, has been floating around many tongues. It's crossed my mind numerous times. I don't even know.
He talks about Rico, right?
Well, he talks about Rico, but it is Rico because if Jen Abel and Melissa Nathan, one or the other or both,
I believe this.
planted a story against Justin Baldoni.
Early on.
Listen to this. This is a fucking amazing movie, bro.
I believe
if these
this
two
happened.
publicists planted a story against their client.
With Jamey Heath.
With Jamey Heath.
Yeah.
In order to extort the money of a billionaire
Yep.
who is dead in love
No, you missed
with
a
his
step.
partner,
You missed a step. It's
Justin Baldoni.
Jamey Heath is like, listen, I want to get my partner Justin Baldoni to hire you guys as their crisis managers, and they're like, okay, well, here's what we'll do.
It's bigger than that.
We'll put a negative story in the press, and then you bring that to Justin Baldoni, and you're like, hey, bro, you really need to hire these crisis managers because look, there's already negative press already negative press out about you.
Dude, Scooter Bond.
Can you believe
Scoots.
Scooter Braun has
Scoots
a fucking
bought
stake
Tag.
in
He bought
Melissa
Tag.
Nathan's.
Literally,
So that's-
Steve Sarowitz's money is flowing from his pocket into Scooter Braun's bank account. As we fucking speak, probably. This is fucking incredible. So basically, this whole conspiracy around, and it's
because they probably recognize.
and now they're in bed with them. They're co-defendants. Do you know what happens when you become a co-defendant legally? They basically forego their fucking internal disputes. That means they already signed off on conflict waivers. They've waived conflict with you. I guarantee you that if they they are co-represented by one attorney. So that means Brian Friedman almost certainly would be in on this. Because it would be Brian Friedman, because this is a fucking lawyer move all the way. It's
just a fucking cash grab,
the
dude.
lawyer would fucking 100% sit down and be like, hey guys, I'll do this. Because I fucking had this conversation, bro.
Excuse me.
I love it. I'm so excited. It's so crazy though. What? Can I be excited?
That was like super intense.
Was it?
Yes.
It's exciting, but it happened to me. I sat in the room, dude, and you know what they were like? They were like, dude, here's the problem. You can't get an attorney. I'm sitting across, man, little weak ass me with my big wide eyes. And they're like, you can't get an attorney. You don't have the money. You don't have enough equity in the movie, and the movie's not making any money. So, but we can represent you. The only thing is you have to waive your conflict with everybody else that we represent in order to do so. So that means that the conspiracy theory that is laid out, this idea that Jen Abel, that fucking Melissa Nathan, that Jamey Heath, that Scooter Braun, that maybe even Justin Baldoni, were all in on this idea of siphoning
because
a billionaire.
They knew, so we learned yesterday when we were reading Steve
They
Sarowitz.
they now have a no conflict clause. They got away with it.
Yeah, got it. Yesterday we learned from Steve Sarowitz's deposition that he has undying love for Justin Baldoni. And he is willing to protect and support him however he can. So it's certain that all these other people in their very close orbit understand this. So they must have recognized that if you get Justin Baldoni on board and you get him into a conflict, then that's just like an endless stream of money from Steve Sarowitz.
Yes.
I do believe that
Exactly.
this happened.
Literally money pouring out. Remember what we heard? That Steve Sarowitz said that he would spend $100 million.
And they were like, I'll take that.
Pardon me, excuse me, what was that? $100 million? I have all the things you need for that, sir.
Okay, I'm going to get started on this that we have decided we're going to do?
Hello,
today?
happiness in your life. Hello. Of course, we already agree. Cosmic Urgency, we're apologizing to you, but Troll is here. Fellbombing is here.
It's so great to see everybody
Stacy
show up on a
Shannon
Saturday.
is here. Fuck yeah, bro. We got friends.
Okay.
We got friends.
Would you like me to begin?
Please.
Okay, so the question from the lawyer so this is Jamey Heath's deposition. This was taken October 9th
Yes.
this year. Okay?
Yes.
Can you describe for me what are your responsibilities as CEO of Wayfair? Jamey Heath says, I can. Quickly, the financial strategy of Wayfair, what we're investing in. Everything that has to do with that, investments, the way that we do our deals, where we're holding our money, anything of that nature. Creatively, projects that we do, are they in line with who we are? Are they good? The quality of it. There is more to it than that, but that's the basic. Also, our leadership and culture, how we walk. Oh my God, that's such religious speak.
Sun's out, guns out.
How we walk. No, it's like how we walk with Christ type shit.
No, I understand.
How we walk, our purpose as a company, what our goals are, and to build relationships with others.
I just can't even sit in rooms with people who would talk to me that way. Like if I was sitting across the room, somebody's like, so we're really interested in how you walk. Do you know what I mean, Dan?
Oh my God, I immediately imagined that it was going to segue directly into the skit, the Monty Python skit of the Ministry of Silly Walks, where they're like, we have a unique way of walking
I
here
love
at
that fucking
Wayfair
bit.
Studios.
I love that. John Cleese.
And it's like,
The Ministry of Silly Walks is the best. If you haven't fucking seen that, seek it out.
that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
How we walk. Okay, how we walk, our purpose as a company, what our goals are, and to build relationships with others.
Oh my God, I can't even get it out of my head.
The lawyer asks, what is Wayfair's purpose as a company? Because that's what he said, our purpose as a company. So Jamey Heath answers, we want to make art that lifts the human spirit, that speaks to things that oftentimes don't have an opportunity to be commercial.
So let's focus on the domestic violence, if you don't mind.
Well, also that oftentimes don't have an opportunity to be commercial, like best-selling book, It Ends With Us, and Pac-Man.
And Pac-Man.
And Pac-Man.
I mean, they're just fucking so full of their own God. They just sit there and drink their own Kool-Aid, bro.
I mean, it's cool to have a goal, I guess.
Yeah, Pac-Man.
They don't have to be commercial, but oftentimes
Justin
they're
Baldoni. Pac-Man.
a film by Justin Baldoni.
A film by Justin Baldoni.
Okay. We want to make art that lifts the human spirit, that speaks to things that oftentimes don't have an opportunity to be commercial. They don't have to be commercial, but oftentimes they don't have a path. To give filmmakers, sometimes new filmmakers, maybe even Blake Lively, opportunities to make movies, to tell stories that
Did he said maybe even Blake Lively?
No, that was me.
Okay.
He said to give filmmakers, sometimes new filmmakers, opportunities to make movies.
I just want to talk right there. Like that. I thank you. I mean, the hypocrisy is just on the table instantly.
She's like, hi.
This is what
I'm a new filmmaker. I'd
this
really
is what
like
I'm
the
telling you
opportunity.
that she signed up for. This is what she signed up for. She thought she was getting with people who believed in giving opportunity out, especially to women who have had it ultimately denied for most of their career. It's an extraordinary problem.
Yeah. I shouldn't have just offered my own little color in that because I know that wasn't clear. What he does say, what Jamey Heath says in his deposition,
Yes,
is to give filmmakers, sometimes new filmmakers, opportunities to make movies, to tell stories that a lot of people may not see are worth telling. And as I say, and my CFO gets mad at me all the time,
does he?
Is we want to make things that, and then it's cut off. I want to know why the CFO gets mad at him all the time for saying that thing.
That have birth scenes. We love birth scenes.
Is we want to make things that get us into lawsuits.
Yeah, that are highly litigious.
Okay.
You know, they're so goddamn into themselves, and they think they're just like some godsend. They think God is infused in their work. They think that God is presenting them to us.
You're saying that
to help us.
You're saying that with a touch of venom, and I think it's a little weird because if you say they think God is infused in their work, doesn't everybody believe that whatever form of God they believe in or whatever entity they trust is in existence? Don't they all believe it's infused in their work? I mean, I don't think that this is such like a outside concept, you know?
Yeah, well, okay. I just find the whole thing being projected rather than being lived like when I speak about my work and the ethereal, I often talk about how it's a process to get to where you get influenced by the ethereal, right? That it's a commitment, that it's like, metaphorically a mountain that you climb, and then when you get to the top, you break through that cloud barrier that leads you to this fountain of creativity and knowledge and all of it.
You got to break on through to the other side. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, you break on through to the other side. And so I have that conversation. What I don't talk about is how I am touched by God, how God comes through me through my work. Like, these are things where I start getting creeped out by it, where when people start to try to create an association with themselves and God in some kind of distinguished way, to your point, actually, like, God is everywhere and everything. Like, it's not yours. It's not yours to claim. And this is just my own personal quip with the whole thing. It doesn't matter. When I see athletes do it, I'm like, oh, would you stop?
Well, I also just feel like any creative work is, you can deify that. Like, that's
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just the part where they are distinguishing their relationship for us to see that bothers me. It's like, can you just have the relationship with God and not pretend like God cares about you more than he does me? Because I'm inspired, but I don't get it. I'm athletically talented, but didn't have the breaks, whatever it might be, for those out there who also have a God, the one even similar to the one claimed by these artists and athletes. And that's what it feels like. It feels like they're claiming God in some way. And I know that's not what they're saying. And I know that's...
like everybody in the South, like every videography company that ever started at a church or something. It's like...
Well, that's all that bothers me. Like, all that bothers me. Like God isn't like... To me, God is like... To me, it's a constant exploitation of God that bothers me. That's what it feels like. It feels like... It's like they wear it like badges.
Yeah, it's weird. What's strange, too, is that part of the reason why Steve Sarowitz is in such a pickle is because he doesn't run his company. And he's been selecting people to run his company that are basically fucking dilettantes, right? Yeah. But he thinks that they're all empowered by God and protected by God, and so nothing bad can happen. Well, look at where that fucking got you, bro.
Yeah, and the other thing is...
You got a lot of people running your company that don't even know your own fucking anti-sexual harassment policy and don't fucking protect your business from fucking civil litigation. Like it's because you're fucking hiring people that don't know what the fuck they're doing just because they're in your little church club. Like, it's obviously a fucking bad way to run a business. Look at where it got them.
Yeah, and what really bothers me about it is that they take it all the way, and I guess maybe that since I have that context, it gets me early, and that is, of course, that they have a Baha'i faith set, a Baha'i set.
And look at what it got you, dude.
Well, it's just that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, that is an imposition on me. Like, I don't want anybody's religion.
Well, you're not going to work for a Wayfarer production, but so I don't think you have to worry about that.
Well, okay, so I'm using me metaphorically, obviously, Yes, I'm never going to work, but it's an...
I don't know that anyone else ever will either, because they can't even get insurance now.
But they did, didn't they? And that's the fucking problem.
Okay, so this next part of Jamey Heath's deposition was... The deposition was taken the day before, but I read it out of order because the exhibit is later. So they're referencing this later. So I just thought that it was in order, but it's not. So this is the questioning he got the day before. I'm assuming that this is earlier in the chronology that he's being asked these things. Okay?
Okay.
Jamey Heath is... Yeah? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. The lawyer is asking, and when was Wayfarer founded to your understanding? He said, he's asking to clarify Wayfarer Studios. He says 2019. And if I use the term Wayfarer, I'm referring to Wayfarer Studios, LLC, unless I otherwise you say okay, and he's agreeing. So it was a fairly new company. Yes. Were there employees when you joined? Yes. How many? He doesn't know, but he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, around 10 maybe, somewhere in that realm. So when you were hired, what position were you hired into? And this is where it's crazy to me that this guy got promoted.
I started at the pool boy. I was the pool boy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was pretty interesting.
I mean, he was like a Grammy-nominated music producer. So, I mean, he knows about working with people. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, he doesn't know how to fucking protect his director when somebody else wants to come into the editing bay. And he doesn't know how to fucking follow up with sexual harassment policy.
No, I'm hard on them, but they have produced quality material, and they ran up the ladder because of it. They kicked ass. Their other movie, which I know was litigated, and I know comes in, but it's the work. Like, the work, they can get the work done. That it ends with us was a smash hit. That other movie, 5 Feet Apart, did $100 million almost in the box office.
Yeah, man.
I mean, the guy knows. These guys
They got
know
the
how.
Midas touch, bro.
They do. They got the Midas fucking touch. I mean, you can't take it away from them.
So the question is, so when you were hired, what position were you hired into? And Jamey Heath says, as I stated, there wasn't a particular position. In the creative world, it's just more come and bring your creativity, your observation, your consultation, and kind of like see what that might look like.
It's
Is
not
that true?
It's it is. It really is. It really is actually. That is quite real. I would say that is as accurate. I mean, look, if you're getting into corporations, if you're getting hired by like, studios, then you're gonna have a title.
Yeah.
But
You're
if
gonna
you
need some
but movies like
experience.
10-person shops
Yeah.
with big dreams and a financier,
Mm-hmm.
they create. It's just like the
Fucking must be nice.
it's
bro.
also like what do you
God
call it?
damn.
Like what do they call that? Silicon Valley and
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Where they're like, oh, our fucking main meeting room is like a pinball.
Ping pong tables. Okay, question. Well, at some point you became president, though, right? And he goes, so the question continues. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, that cuts off. So they skip a page, and then the question now is, how long did you hold that position? I don't know why they didn't just include that. Okay. Question, how long did you hold that position? Jamey Heath says, until almost 2 years ago, or maybe a year and 8 months or so, when we brought on Tara Hanks. We gave her the title of president, and I became COO, and then he corrects himself, CEO. So to be clear, at all times, I was with both titles, essentially the head of the company in that regard. They are just titles. All of these titles are ridiculous to me anyways.
Wow, I mean, you corrected them. You were a CEO, you were a COO, and he was like, oh, am I operations? Honey, look at me. Am I operations? Or am I an executive? What do you think with my experience?
Meanwhile, like, he hasn't noticed that she's been seething ever since he showed a picture of her birthing video to any random person on the set.
No. She's
That's
fucking
Jamey Heath's wife.
dude. She's eating off the crystal, man. She's eating off the fucking china.
Okay, question. You see yourself as the head of the company with respect to the day-to-day operations? He said, day-to-day operations, we have an operations manager. So the question continues. This is Ezra Hudson asking these questions.
Before you go, Shannon said, and I caught a glimpse of it. Wayfarer just bought the rights to 2 Real. And for some crazy reason, maybe it's pre-dementia, I was like, did they? Like I started
Oh my God.
I had a moment of panic, and I was like, wait, no, did you own
Angela,
them?
stop everything.
Dale, you own them. They didn't. Nobody has. Not yet.
Fucking Shannon. Trying to give you a heart
Gave
attack.
me a panic attack. In my Mork and Mindy shirt of all shirts.
Right in front of my Mork and Mindy?
Right in front of my Mork and Mindy.
Okay. He said, for day-to-day operations, we have an operations manager. And the question Ezra Hudson is asking, well, what do you mean by the head of the company? Jamey Heath said, I just mean the top. The person that ultimately signs off on daily operations would be one of them. Our deals and most of our creative. Of course, not meaning to omit the chairman, but their job is different, or their role is different.
They sit in
He's
in
not clear.
they sit on thrones and move fingers to indicate the things they want.
He doesn't
If
answer.
he moves his index finger and his middle finger, he wants water.
He doesn't answer questions in full sentences, so I actually can't figure out how to read this. Okay. Let's see.
It's probably because he's like pausing with big breaths in between. Well,
Because it's so difficult to answer.
Mondays are.
So
We
then-
went to.
So the Ezra Hudson continues to ask, what is the distinction between the president and the CEO?
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts off. Okay, so we return page 38, where he
It's
is
like everybody
saying,
wants to know like what the producers' roles are. So what is the difference between the president and the CEO?
well, they're trying to nail down what is it that you fucking do? Because Steve Sarowitz doesn't know shit about
Oh,
anything.
it's just a title.
Who the fuck is
I do
in
a
charge
title.
here?
Absolutely nobody. You know what? They sit around,
Nobody.
they fucking talk.
I know.
Deals come on the table. I mean, obviously they're very active. They have tons of fucking activity. They got a Scarlett Johansson movie directed. They're, they're doing it.
Because they have money.
There's no question. Yeah, they're
Okay,
doing it.
listen.
But
Okay, so, and the question is, and then for VP of Creative, is that Angela Carden? He said yes. Has she held that position since 2023? She has. with respect to HR.
God, that job, you get that job, you're like, awesome. Yeah, this is great. Wow, they're working with what the fuck? What?
No, now you're
the
immediately
fuck?
in litigation.
You come home, you're just fighting with your spouse for no reason.
With respect to HR, is Cynthia Barnes Slater your head of HR? And he said she is.
Boo.
Question. She describes herself online as retired. Is that not accurate? He says she's retired from, she was head of HR of, I can't recall the company. It's like GMC or, a big corporation. She retired from that, and then she does private working HR for smaller companies. So the question is,
sounds like she's still retired.
In a consultant role, essentially? He goes, yes. She says, and how long has she held that position with Wayfarer? He said, as long as I've been there, so... Next question is she physically present in California? And he said she is. And she's asking, she doesn't live in Illinois. No, let me rephrase that. Not as far as I know, but yes, she lives in California unless something's changed. Question, and does Wayfarer have an office? And Jamey Heath says yes. Does Miss Barnes Slater work in Wayfarer's office? He said not regularly. Does she work from home? Yes. Is there anyone in human resources other than Miss Barnes Slater? And Jamey Heath says, I know Mitz assists her in the operation level. Outside of that, no.
Mitz?
Yes.
They got somebody named Mitz?
Yep. Get Mitz on the phone. We got a problem. Call Mitz.
Everybody wants to buy Mitz something to drink, What can I get you to drink, Mitz?
Mitz. Question. Has Miss Barnes Slater always worked at home? Witness says yes. Does she ever come into the office? Yes. How often? She does not have a schedule, so I would not be able to put a number on it. Can you give me an estimate? And then that cuts off.
The answer is no.
So she's retired. She does consulting.
She comes in every now and then to pick up the check.
I guess she runs the hotline.
She gets paid quarterly.
Yeah, who knows, man. So they're like, okay, flimsy HR operation there.
What the fuck is that? So in other words, you don't have any HR mechanism in your corporation.
Okay.
In your fucking...
I guess it's not really...
And the thing about it is
robust.
that while Wayfair has, 10 employees in their office, when they do a production, they have 100. They have 150. They have 300. All of those every production, all of those people work for Wayfair or some form or entity of it, some subsidiary of it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll make an LLC of the movie, but it's a Wayfair property, right?
Maybe that's when she shows up or something. I don't know. It's weird you can't answer these questions.
Because suddenly you have 100 fucking employees,
so
150 employees.
You're the fucking boss and you don't know when this person is coming into work and what she's doing.
Every time you see a shot, like whether it's the slow dance scene or the kiss scene that we've just seen, every single person that you see on camera and then everybody, behind it and around it, those are all Wayfair employees, every one of them.
Yeah. Okay, man. Sounds like a recipe for a disaster, but what do I know? Okay.
So to not have, I'm saying that because to not have HR present, right? And as a part of daily operations, like they have productions going on at all times. So it's an illusion to think that she's not really that necessary. There's only 10 people there. They can all reach her by email when she's got 100 fucking people on 2 different sets.
What's super weird about this is I'm thinking about this in the context of this is a company that has been sued repeatedly.
Yeah.
Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer have been in several lawsuits before they ever met Blake Lively. And so I don't know why they aren't trying to make the HR have a more prominent present role to protect the company. Like they've already been sued for fucking racial discrimination and retaliation.
Yeah, that's immediately when you have a problem to fix. Immediately,
so why,
internally, it's like, okay, we got to fix this.
So this is still not a priority of theirs?
But the problem is that, and this is where this whole thing really does blow up in their face, is that it's the principals who are being accused. So usually, the companies and the founders and the sort of management of the company, they're usually fairly clean. Usually.
Oh my God,
especially early in companies.
Not here.
Usually the kinds of problems that you have are from the people that you're hiring, that are coming in. Maybe they are a part of management also, but lower management, like director level, whatever. And, but the problem is that the corruption's all the way at the top and there's nowhere to go. Justin Baldoni was the problem with Greg Norman. No, what's his name?
Shane Norman.
Greg Norman's
he's being
long lost cousin.
He's being they would expect him to investigate himself, and if he doesn't feel like doing that, then
So what do you do at that point? And well, there's a mechanism that's supposed to be in place, and this is why HR is a fucking joke anyway. Because
it's to
when you
protect
do
the
have
fucking company.
HR, it's ultimately protecting the corporation anyway.
Yeah, you would think that they would want their company protected by a really robust, like a fucking bulldog who fucking works in your HR, who is always seeing everything and fucking attacking every single little problem when it's real small.
It's not just that. Their job, HR, is compliance. Their job is compliance. It's about making sure that the company is compliant, that whenever complaints are filed, proper investigations, they can do investigations and call them independent if they want. I've said this before, I'll say it again. They could have done an investigation into, let's call it the slow dance scene. They could have watched the footage afterwards. They could have called Blake Lively in or just wrote her letters, what they usually do. And in the letter, they'd say, we re-complaint, groping, whatever, let's call it that. We have reviewed the evidence involved, and we do not see any violation of company policy going on. However, we have informed Justin Baldoni that he needs to be conscientious of your concerns and your sensitivity around these matters. Please, if anything happens, come back and speak to us again. And they literally just, if all they did was make reports and do investigations, she would have such a more difficult problem on her hands.
The CRD might not have given her, well, no, because he fucking retaliated, so he blew that up.
Yeah, I mean, if the retaliation's there, the retaliation's there, but the CRD would have looked at the SH probably somewhat differently, at least, if the investigations cleared anybody of them.
Because they want to know whether the company did follow the law. And he fucking never did.
And all they had to do was investigate and say, we didn't see that happening. And then they can put an explanation. For example, in the slow dance scene, they would have had a record. Can you imagine the power that have had over the crowd today that is behind Justin Baldoni if they already had an HR record that said, we investigated the matter that you complained about, and we think that nothing happened here that was out of the ordinary of making this movie and the characters that you guys were portraying.
She would have had a much higher bar to prove that she hadn't been dealt with properly, right? That her complaints had been ignored. Now it's easy to make that claim because they're admitting it themselves.
Yeah. It's such slop. It's just slop. And then you talk about like, oh, they didn't have a head of HR. They didn't have anybody. Like, I am just a producer, and I would know that if that element were missing for me, that I would have a problem.
Okay, can I continue?
Yeah, please do.
All right. Okay, this page picks up right in the middle. It's just one page, so this is short, but it's right in the middle of an answer. So I'm just going to pick up. Jamey Heath is saying different many shapes. It could be because you were involved in just developing the project, but not involved in producing. It could be because you brought some money to it. There are distributors that if they distribute the movie and they would like an EP credit. Okay, so he's answering a question about what constitutes an executive producer credit. There are distributors that if they distribute the movie, they would like an EP credit, and then there are vanity credits. Those are pretty much the distinctions.
Wait, can you read them again? I want to see if I disagree.
So we don't have his whole answer. He might have been very explicit before this.
Yeah.
Different many shapes. It could be because you were involved in just developing the project, but not involved in producing. It could be because you brought some money to it. There are distributors that if they distribute the movie, they would like an EP credit. And then there are vanity credits. Those are pretty much the distinctions.
Well, he's totally wrong about that. Harvey Weinstein would laugh in his face. Harvey Weinstein was in the editing room constantly. In fact, one of Harvey's as an executive producer, Harvey Weinstein was constantly involved in every aspect of the project from producing up. And so he's just wrong. And it's okay to be wrong in that situation, but executive producers can be any kind of producer.
Yeah.
There's literally it can be, a co-producer could have done the very same job as an executive producer on the same movie.
Question. So you got a producer credit on It Ends With Us, correct? Jamey Heath says, I did. The question is,
I did.
Why did you receive a producer credit on that film? Let me ask you another question. You were provided a producer credit at the outset of that film, correct? It was not something that was provided at the end? He said, correct. And what did you anticipate your role would be on that film for you to receive a producer credit from the outset? And his answer is cut off, but it starts, as I had mentioned, producers are in the sandbox doing the work creatively, business-wise, and that was
in the sandbox that is so vague.
Doing the work creatively, business-wise.
Like I can describe very succinctly what I do. You know what I
Yes.
mean? From developing the writing all the way through to executing post and delivering the movie.
Yeah. So if he's given, I'm interested in the rest of this. I want to know what the rest of this says because it's very interesting to make this distinction. He maintains that he does not believe that Blake Lively deserved her producer credit. Right? He said this in all these emails.
He's batshit crazy and doesn't know
but
fuck
he
all
thinks
about what
that
he's talking
he
about.
does.
He's
So
batshit. She
he needs to
deserves it more
define-
than he does.
So he needs to define what he did to deserve that before they even started filming.
I love the approach.
It's interesting.
I love the approach.
Ezra Hudson. She's
Yeah, Ezra Hudson's no joke. That is such a great approach. I'm thank you for pointing that out because that's absolutely fucking brilliant to establish what was his job. To deny her credit is outstanding. I also love that they have.
You were provided a producer credit at the outset of that film, correct? It was not something that was provided at the end.
Yeah, he got
And
the
what did
company
you-
credit.
And what did you anticipate your role would be on that film for you to receive a producer credit from the outset? It's clever. Okay.
Yes.
This is a big skip, so let's see what they're talking about here. We get a couple pages here.
Big skip.
Okay, question. But just to go back to, I want to make sure I understand. It's your understanding that indie movies just have no HR. Is that right? Jamey Heath says that they don't have HR departments, that they don't have a representative on set specifically that's HR. Like as if that's a fucking, like a given. Okay. Question.
He's talking about on a set.
Yeah, that they don't have...
It would fall to the first AD.
That they don't have any
Typical.
human resource representatives? And Jamey Heath answers that typically the understanding is that you would go to one of your supervisors, production supervisor or the line producer or the AD. Also on call
Correct.
sheets, there are numbers of hotlines and also you have your unions such as SAG and so on. So
I don't know why any producer would be comfortable that he said that is like, to me, I would just be terrified if somebody thought that they should take their complaint to one of the fucking unions. Like that would be the last goddamn thing as a SAG signatory.
That's not protecting
or
your
a fucking
company.
WGA signatory movie is fucking having my company and my production company reported to the fucking union.
That is fucking
You know,
unwise.
you're signatory, you fool.
Okay, question.
But he's not wrong. You report up.
Yeah, right. Okay. Question. Do you know whether there was a hotline provided to anybody who worked on It Ends With Us to call regarding human resource matters? And his answer gets cut off. It says, I believe there was... Oh, no, never mind. This does continue. I believe there was a hotline on all the call sheets that went out regarding if there was concerns of any matters that there was a line. If there was any concerns of any matters that there was a line. Question. If there
Like
was
I immediately in my imagination cut to like Peg Bundy with like a phone into her ear,
Hello?
bouncing a baby with a cigarette in
What
her mouth.
now?
He did what? Nah, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, I'd be pissed too. Here, let me write that down. Clack, 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 clack. Right?
Yeah.
She's got these like long press-on nails on
Yeah.
the keyboard. Okay. If there was a hotline, who answered that? Jamey Heath says, I don't know. Question, you don't know who answered the hotline? He said, I do not. Question, did Wayfair pay for someone to answer the hotline? Jamey Heath says, Wayfair didn't, but It Ends With Us would have. Question, It Ends With Us would have. Were you responsible at all for any of the financial management of It Ends With Us? Jamey Heath's answer is on a top level. Ezra Hudson says, at a top level. Okay. Do you have any recollection of ever authorizing or paying someone to man a hotline for the movie It Ends With Us? Jamey Heath answers, no, I would have not seen that specifically. Ezra Hudson said, you would not. And sitting here today, you don't know if that actually happened, right? Jamey Heath says, no, I do know there was a hotline. Ezra Hudson said, there was a hotline? And Jamey Heath says, there was. She was like, okay, a phone call to fucking nowhere? Does it get picked up from a phone booth in the middle of the desert?
As I said, it's Peg Bundy, bro. She's like, what's going on, honey? He didn't. Okay. Hey, you know what? You're in control of you. You know that? You're in control. You hear me? Okay, you feel better? Do you feel better? Okay. Okay, get back to work. Bye-bye. Oh, who is this person? Who's this fucking, is it something, do they get, he's like, would have paid. You notice that language? He said it would have been picked up by It Ends With Us. So like, is it like, Is it like one of those services? Well, we'll only charge you if you use us.
I
Is
know.
that the service?
I guess, yeah.
It's a service?
And the lawyer's like, oh my God. Okay, so you said you're in fucking charge, right? Like you pay the bills. Did you ever pay for a fucking hotline? I don't know. What?
Also, like why would you call a hotline? It's so fucking, unless it was like really weird. And in which case then you might be dialing something like the police. But like,
I would also need to know who is checking that answering machine. Is it the person I'm accusing? A hotline doesn't help me, right? I don't know whether I'm going to catch some fucking retribution because I have told my complaint to a fucking empty phone line.
a hotline.
Yeah. Yeah, it just rings like a, like a payphone in the middle of Union Station or something like that. And so
Yeah.
whoever's there picks it up.
Yeah, happiness in your life says, or Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin, exactly.
Fucking top shelf.
Hello?
Man. Hello? She'd be top shelf. Well, she'd be more like, yeah, she'd be tough stuff.
Smacking her gum.
Yeah.
Okay, so this picks up a few pages later, several pages later. Question, you produced a video in, your lawyers produced a video in this case. Did you provide the video of a video in which your wife is in a tub with a baby to your lawyers to produce to us in this case? He said, I did. The lawyer said, okay, where was that video stored? The answer, you mean at what point? At the point that you took it to give it to your lawyers, where did you get it? Where was it? Jamey Heath said, I believe it was on my phone. It was on your phone? I believe so. Okay, did you edit the video at all before giving it to your lawyers? He said, I did not. The lawyer's asking, so the video you gave was the complete video as it existed on your phone? He said, correct. Question, what in your memory did the video depict? He said, it's our midwife, my sister, my kids, my wife, myself, our newborn baby. I believe we were singing or praying. The baby was crying. And then at some point we were whispering a prayer in the baby's ear.
Oh, God.
Definitely something you want to share at the workplace without ever asking if somebody wants to see it.
Weird. Why would you even record it?
I don't know anybody who has ever had a job in any fucking context that wouldn't ask a coworker whether they want to see something
For sure.
so fucking private.
No doubt about it.
So private, so
I can't
intimate.
believe a human being would just want to offer that up without asking. Like, it is so obvious.
That's
First of all,
so
I just find it
personal.
weird that anybody would want to share their birthing video with somebody outside their immediate family. Like, I just don't even understand unless of course it's like, I'm scared to do it. I could show you our video. Like, it's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Or
something like that. There might be some
We're
context,
talking about the context of a water birth.
but the way in which the context that he, showed her the video under it makes my skin crawl. It's nasty.
Also, it's a birthing tub, and once the baby's born, like that, that's not a clean area anymore. Like, the whole thing is fucking weird, dude. This guy's fucking weird. And of course, like, everybody's depicting us as like the bad guys for saying this is fucking weird behavior. Like I don't think that the fucking miracle of childbirth isn't something special or important. Like, that I think it's fucking
I
gross.
watch it on National Geographic all the fucking time.
It's fucking weird behavior, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, she said, that's what you recall? He said, yeah. And your wife was in the tub? He said, a birthing tub. Yeah. Ezra Hudson. I actually don't know which lawyer this is now. The lawyer said, a birthing tub. And you said she wasn't clothed, but she had a towel over her. Jamey Heath clarifies, the towel was more over the baby, I think, because, when the baby comes out of the water and you bring it up, then it's wet, so you put a dry towel to cover it. He said it, by the way. He's talking about his child, and he's saying it. Anyway, something I noticed. Question, and in the video that you gave to your lawyers to give to us, were you in the video? He said, I am. And are you nude in that video? He said, no. Lawyer's asking, did your wife give birth in the tub? He said, she did. Were you in the tub when she gave birth? He said, I was. And then that's it.
Ugh,
it cuts off.
God, what are you guys doing?
Well, this is a very wonderful way to deliver a
Is
baby.
it really? It sounds like hell to me.
Yeah, childbirth is probably hell. I mean, I wouldn't know, but that's why I wouldn't know, because it sounds like hell.
No, but I mean, like,
I don't know why he thought he could show it to fucking Blake Lively,
Yeah.
who's had 4 children by the time he tried to show her this video. Like, she fucking knows. I don't know.
Listen.
Weird.
I'm fascinated by anyone who would want to take birthing to that level. I'd want it to be a relatively natural experience, but ultimately it would just be up to you. If you were having my child, you would be the only one who would, and that's never going to happen. But if it did, it would be like, so what do you want to do? How do you want this to go? And if you said, yeah, get in the tub with you, I'd be like, okay, but would I want to? No, I don't want to get in a tub.
With all your family there?
No, with my whole family there. And, that's not how I want to celebrate.
When he showed the video to Blake Lively and her first reaction was, is your wife okay with you showing people like this? And he said, oh, she's not weird about that stuff, which is so fucking offensive and demeaning to say to a strange woman that your wife isn't weird about the stuff like this, because it would be totally normal to want to protect such a personal video.
Yeah.
But I guess what he thinks is that when he says she's not weird about stuff like that, what he's saying is that she gave birth around all the family members were there with her nude in the birthing tub.
So weird.
So it's like, these people are different, Like,
that's just
it's
different.
Fine. You want to live your
granola. That would
granola.
traumatize me as a kid.
You want to live your granola lifestyle. That's fine.
That would
Don't bring it to
traumatize
fucking
me.
work and then be offended or confused when you show your coworker and they're like, "What the fuck, bro?" You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's like you have to
fucking headache.
If you're gonna do business with a bunch of people that aren't in your secret, your secret society club, whatever the fuck, don't be surprised when they aren't on board with every single weird thing you do.
Well, look, I'm the fool here because this isn't about his his preferences for having children, and it's all up to them. And I'm sure it was a miracle for them. It sounds weird to me. None of that matters. All that matters is that he found it appropriate in his way of thinking to walk up to a mother of 4
and didn't ask
without permission,
without asking,
and just showed her
like
a video
person.
as entirely personal as that.
Yeah,
is just, to me,
the lawyer's
outrageous.
asking, so, and you said she wasn't clothed, but she had a towel over her, and he said the towel was more over the baby.
So she saw
he
it
has
all.
confirmed that his wife was naked in the video.
Yeah.
She had a baby over her chest to cover what we could see of her naked body.
Is he dressed? How was he dressed?
And he said he was dressed in the... Well, they've got a whole fucking room full of family, so I guess he just got in there with his clothes on. I have no idea.
Oh.
Whatever. The whole situation is just the most bonkers workplace complaint I've ever heard in my life, and I don't know why.
It's so weird.
I don't know why
dude.
anybody is acting like this isn't super fucking weird.
And think about it, because it happened after.
It happened after the scene,
the birthing scene,
the relevant scene, which the whole reason why
he
wanted to show her this in the first place was because Justin Baldoni and Jamey Heath were trying to convince Blake Lively to be naked in a hospital birth in a scene in a movie, and I don't even know how they would have shot that. How would they even have fucking filmed it? Because she's not fully pregnant in the movie. She's wearing a prosthetic belly. Okay, so they were telling her that she should be naked
with a prosthetic
belly. How does that even work? If anybody saw It Ends With Us, where nowhere in the book is she nude in a hospital room, and nowhere in the history of films where they have a birthing scene are the mothers in a hospital with stirrups and everything not covered in a fucking hospital smock. What are they even thinking? But that's the context for why he wanted to show the video to her, was he was trying to continue an argument that they had the day prior, and the film, that scene is already fucking shot and in the can. It's not even relevant anymore.
Well, no, because
the weirdest behavior.
You have to put it into context, and this is important actually, because the context is that they wanted Blake Lively to be naked. Blake Lively didn't want to be naked.
It doesn't even make sense.
Let me finish. Yes. They wanted to fight with...
Yeah.
They fought with her about it.
Yeah, she's like, guys, no.
Then she eventually acquiesced, but it was obviously a point of discomfort, including, but not limited to, the fact that she'd seen people on the set when she wanted a closed set in the first place. So there was another instance where they had tension and discomfort, right? And he couldn't let it go because she felt exploited and they knew it. They got their buddy playing catch between her legs, and they got Steve Sarowitz coming in on that day only. And by the way, I just learned through Steve Sarowitz's depositions that he is buddies with the guy who was between her legs also. So it's a coincidence, I suppose, that the one of 2 times that Steve Sarowitz was on set was also when his buddy who was between her legs was on set. Or maybe that wasn't a coincidence, and he fucking knew he was going to be on set, and he knew what role he was playing also.
And he knew that Blake Lively was going to be doing a birthing scene on that day because his buddy was cast in the movie as an
That's what I'm
OBGYN
saying.
in the birthing scene.
So then, the next day you have Jamey Heath trying to clarify that this was not about getting her naked. This wasn't about getting you naked. This was about trying to capture something that was beautiful. I can prove it. So that's the context.
She's not in a fucking tub. She's not at home.
But
she's in a hospital.
It's about the intention. Like it's like showing a comp. It's like a sizzle reel. But it's so ridiculous. It's so outrageous. Like he couldn't let go of the fact that she was offended by and probably gave off the vibes of, if not, said or insinuated that she might have felt like they were just trying to take advantage in some way, or that there was something inappropriate happening at the point where they were trying to get her pants off. Right? Like, I can see that easily going down 100%. Like, if you've got like people harping on it, like, let's get your pants off. We want nudity here. And she's like, no. That's a big fucking deal, especially when we're dealing with genitals.
Can you imagine if like Sony watched the director's cut, they're trying to decide whether it's going to be their theatrical cut, and all of a sudden Blake Lively is completely nude in a hospital. And they have to like somehow like fix it in post that she's wearing a big prosthetic belly that probably doesn't even like match her skin tone.
It's a straight up mess. But on top of it, then you have, so the next day you've got this guy, Jamey Heath, being like, hey man, let me prove to you that what we were going to do was in good taste. I can prove it.
How the fuck?
Because I even subjected my kids to this.
How the fuck did he think that it was going to go? That he walks over to her while she's having lunch with her assistant, doesn't even fucking talk to her, ask her. He just puts his phone in her face and then starts talking. She's like, what the fuck, bro?
I'm just like, as a kid, I would want nothing more than to see mommy go to the hospital, then see the baby come back.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'd like to see it go. Or go to the hospital,
Well, I don't know much about it, but there's a lot of different methods for birth, and I don't think that either of us are qualified to have the discussion about their, what's best.
No, I said if I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't do whatever you want, but don't show me pictures.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So this next page, this picks up. Okay, so he is answering, I don't know what this is. He said, it seemed in context of they were there filming and a lot of conversations happening, and so I did not think about that after that. Question. And there's been some testimony about Mr. Sarowitz being at the set the day of the birthing video. I'm sorry, the day the birth scene was filmed. He said yes. Question. This is Ezra Hudson. And you recall him being there that day as well, correct? Jamey Heath clarifies he was there later that day. Ezra Hudson said, I understand, but he was there on the set at some point during that day, correct? Correct. I'm going to hand you what we've marked as Exhibit 9.
9.
And they do not continue that. So they're trying to clarify that, yes, Steve Sarowitz was there, even though the entire call sheet says a closed set for the entire day. But Steve Sarowitz was there, but Jamey Heath is saying he was not there during the birthing scene. He was there later. Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see how that actually works out, because it might be that he was there for not the birthing scene, but the over the shoulder stuff. I told you that they changed perspectives.
Right.
And he might have been there for something like that. Like she saw him.
She saw him, yeah.
And she was in some kind of vulnerable state when she did.
It was supposed to be a closed set all day.
Yeah.
And he's saying, yeah, I know it was non-essential people were supposed to be banned from the closed set, but even though I'm technically non-essential, I belong there anyway. So it doesn't really matter whether it's closed set because she's needs it to be, or whether it's just been designated so. He's not going to respect it anyway. Steve Sarowitz has admitted that. It's fucking weird.
It is.
Okay. This next one picks up in the middle of his answer. He says, I don't know that she was in a state of undress. Okay.
Who?
I don't know. It
Okay.
just picks up.
Okay.
Page 209. Okay.
Gotcha.
His answer is, I don't know that she was in a state of undress.
Oh, this would be when Steve Sarowitz was present.
I'm assuming. Question. Do you have a specific memory? Did you see that?
No.
There's a little like gnat or something. I hope it's not a mosquito. Question. Do you have a specific memory of the incident that Miss Carroll, Miss Baker, and Miss Lively described? He said, I do. Okay, and what is your memory of that incident? Jamey Heath says, well, this is day 2 of shooting. We had got a text that morning, maybe the night before, but it could have been that morning from Miss Lively, and she wanted to meet with me and Ange and Justin and Alex. We tried to have the meeting that morning. It didn't work out. We tried to have it in the afternoon, several attempts, and we were not able to achieve. At the end of shooting, we were at the cemetery. I approached her and said, "I know you wanted to meet today, but it's getting late," and suggested that maybe we do it the next day or something. She had said that she was going back to her makeup trailer. Could we meet her there? And we could have the conversation then. Not the conversation that she wanted to have in the morning, the conversation about whether or not we were going to do it that night or the next day. Question. So the conversation, so I understand it, was just about when the meeting was going to take place. And Jamey Heath answers, she was hoping to have it that day, that night, and now that it was the end of the day, I was concerned about her turnaround time. Question. So just to be clear, though, the conversation that you were going to have with Miss Lively in her makeup trailer, in your understanding, was about when this meeting was going to take place. Jamey, he says, whether we were going to do it that night or the next day.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I know. Okay. He continues to answer. So the four of us, Justin, myself, Ange Giannetti, and Alex Sachs, all went to her makeup trailer, the four of us.
To have a discussion about having a meeting the next day?
Sounds like you guys are having a meeting.
What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. Why does that make sense?
Well, so...
Hey, everybody, let's go hear what Blake Lively has to say about the meeting tomorrow?
Yeah, well, Blake, it's interesting because Blake Lively's description of the events does make sense. That he assembled all these people, went to her makeup trailer, and said, that we're all here to have a meeting, and if you don't want to have the meeting, then you can't.
It certainly doesn't make sense that he's going to assemble all these people to show up and schedule something for the next day.
Right.
Why would you do that? That's as stupid is.
So the four of us, Justin, myself, Ange Giannetti, and Alex Sachs, all went to her makeup trailer, the four of us. I knocked, heard some sort of, in quotes, come in, or quotes, yes, or some indication that led me to believe it was okay to open the door. Question. So the opposite of what the three witnesses said? And Jamey Heath says, you asked me what? And the lawyer says, I just want to make sure I understand. They all said no, and you heard yes. Is that right? And then objection from his lawyer. The witness says, I don't. And then his lawyer continues, will you let him finish his answer? You asked him to describe his memory of the event, and you keep interrupting him. Ezra Hudson says, well, I'm asking questions as he is providing the answer. And Jamey Heath says, would it be okay if I just give you my answer? She said, go ahead. Is that all right? He said. She says, go ahead. And they're bickering.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
Jamey Heath said, so I then knocked, to be clear, with Justin and Ange and Alex with me at the bottom of her steps.
Had a gang of people with me to schedule the meeting.
At the bottom of her steps.
At the bottom of her steps.
Clustered
Non-confrontationally.
right at the door.
Yeah. Not going to do anything except just have a conversation about the meeting fucking tomorrow. Mm-hmm. He's lying. He's lying.
Makes no
That's
sense.
A lie.
All those people are busy people.
Come on, bro. You're going to assemble all these people?
At the end of the day, they want to go home to their kids.
That is a lie.
He said, I knocked on the door, heard some indication to come in. Let me just start this one over. So I then knocked, to be clear, with Justin and Ange and Alex with me at the bottom of her steps. I knocked on the door, heard some indication to come in. As I took a step up, I saw that she was leaned back. She looked what I thought was either maybe breastfeeding or nursing. I said to her, oh, it looks like you're busy. I can come back. As I turned around, she says, no, that's okay. You can come in. Just look away. And I said, sure. Now, I never saw the front of her. I just saw this, which appeared to me a familiar position of her feeding or nursing or pumping. So when I walked over to the side, looked away. Then I walked over to the side, looked away. We had a 2-minute conversation, could have been 3 minutes, about whether or not we were going to have the meeting that night or the next day. I was trying to negotiate with her. Could we do it tomorrow? Because I was worried about the turnaround time. And we would lose money, which is an implication. We would lose hours in the next day, which is an implication of money. We had a conversation back and forth. She eventually said no. She had to have it tonight, and she would not waive any sort of turnaround time and do it off record. So I then left, walked down the stairs, out of the makeup trailer, where Ange, Justin, and Alex were, reported after 3 minutes. Reported to them, she wants to do it tonight. I tried to convince her to do it tomorrow, but she wants to do it tonight. She walked out.
So he brought everyone there just in case Blake didn't want to do it tomorrow, the next day?
I don't understand this either. Okay, she walked out 4 or 5 minutes later, greeted us, said hello. We went into her then trailer, and we had a discussion about what she wanted to meet with us. Remember, Blake has 2 trailers. She has a makeup trailer and her personal trailer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting that they are assuming that they can walk into either of them, when I think that she previously had only invited people into one. Because the makeup trailer, she's often nude there. Okay, I'm interested. His version of the story doesn't match hers, so I think it's still up in the air. I'd like to know what she says about it. When we get her deposition, we'll compare. So continuing, the lawyer's asking, and when she came to the trailer for the meeting, did she say anything about what had just occurred in her makeup trailer? Jamey Heath said she did not. This is on day 2. This is May 16th, May 16th. Did you ever learn that Miss Lively had a different view of the incident in the trailer prior to her testimony? Jamey Heath says, I learned that her different view is when I read the CRD complaint. The lawyer's asking, so you didn't hear any concerns raised by Miss Lively regarding this incident in the trailer on the second day of shooting until the CRD complaint? Jamey Heath says, we had a conversation about it on June 1st, 2 weeks later, but not that there was a concern.
June 1st, June 1st is the 17 point?
Page 33 of Justin Baldoni's timeline document, where he describes how she called a company meeting. She assembled all of the producer, manager, whatever. And she was like, listen, I've experienced some shit and I need it to stop. And they're like, yeah, we already apologized for that. So they apologized again. So they outline all the things that she had experienced that month of May.
Okay.
So he said, we had a conversation about it on June 1st, 2 weeks later, but not that there was a concern. Question. Okay. And when you said we had a conversation about it 2 weeks later, what are you talking about? Answer. There was a conversation with Blake, Justin, myself, and Alex Sachs about she had got COVID and we returned to set, and we had a morning conversation before we started working, and it's cut off. So I can't read the rest. But it's on page 33 of Justin Baldoni's timeline document where they describe what happened.
And do you remember what it was exactly?
Yeah. Here, I got it here. Let me pull it up. Page 33, which I share constantly online because people are like, there was no SH. I'm like, they admit that there was SH. They totally admit that.
I do remember this now because this is the moment where she assembles them and says, you guys have been fucking around.
Yeah, Blake Lively's like, you guys are going to cut the shit. And they're like, okay. Well, what they're doing on page 33. God, I need to clean my phone. Sorry, guys.
They can't see it.
I know, but they can fucking just hear a pin drop waiting, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, by clean your phone, you mean clean out your phone? I was like, what is it, covered in something? Like, what do you mean clean your phone? You spray your phone with alcohol.
It's covered in sin. The sin of all of these allegations. Okay, here we go. June 1st, 2023. I'm reading this from Justin Baldoni's timeline document that he put on.
So this is after Jenny
website.
Slate, according to a scientist, this is after Jenny Slate and Blake had complained to Sony.
Yeah, well, they were shooting the first month of May. He said the second day of shooting was May 16th. So that was a pretty action-packed 2 weeks of a film shoot where she has all this to complain about, okay?
Yeah.
According to Justin Baldoni's timeline document. Now, notice the dismissive behavior, the dismissive language that he uses to describe this.
Yeah.
But this is him admitting that her allegations of sexual harassment on the set were truthful, okay?
Yeah.
Upon returning to production, Lively requested a meeting with Baldoni and the film's producers, during which she shared a series of grievances that she appeared to have spent the past 5 days over-analyzing. I can't believe that that's in a legal filing. From the outset, it was clear that she had scrutinized every minor interaction and perceived slight from the previous week. In the meeting, Lively revisited the sexy comment, an issue Baldoni had already apologized for twice, first minutes after the incident on May 23rd, 2023, and again later. Lively herself had previously acknowledged and seemingly accepted the apology. Despite this, Baldoni apologized a third time in an effort to move forward. Additionally, she accused Heath of looking at her on May 16th, 2023, when she had specifically asked him to turn his back during a conversation in her makeup trailer. Heath explained that he hadn't realized he had looked at her, but apologized nonetheless. That is a different story than the one he's telling in his deposition.
Yeah.
Lively acknowledged, in quotes, I know you weren't trying to cop a look. Lively further claimed that Heath had shown her a video of his wife's home birth and thought it was pornographic. Heath, shocked by this characterization, confirmed that she did in fact understand that it was a video of a post-birth recording of his wife and newborn daughter. He also explained that Baldoni had asked him to show the clip to Lively as part of a creative discussion, and that Lively actually had not seen the video. Despite the explanation, Heath apologized once more. The meeting underscored the escalating tensions, with Lively using the opportunity to air grievances over interactions that the team had believed were already resolved. Why did you think they were resolved? You have an anti-harassment policy that tells you exactly how to resolve such interactions, but you didn't do any of those things. So
it's just.
I guess I don't understand why you thought that.
It's just up to you to solve those problems.
Okay. Back to the deposition. This is a new page. This is just 6 pages later. They might be on the same topic. Okay. Ezra Hudson's questioning. Okay, so if Miss Lively wasn't saying she was uncomfortable, what was your understanding of the reason she brought up the video? Jamey Heath says, I can tell you what the interaction was and what I inferred from it. She said, sure. He continues, as she came back from having COVID, and as her text said she wanted to get off to a, and he's reading back, he's reading here, so this is back to work on a solid track. And then he continues, she said to me that, in quotes, Jamey, you know when you walked up to me to show me the video with your wife, I thought you were showing me porn. He's quoting. I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Really? Oh my gosh. She was like, I know that it wasn't, but it startled me. I thought that's what you were showing me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then we moved on. She didn't say anything. She didn't say anything that it was uncomfortable. She was just telling me that's what she thought. She recognized.
I mean, it was obviously uncomfortable.
She recognized that what she thought it was, that it was in fact what I showed her, and then she moved on.
Which is inappropriate.
And then she moved on to the next subject.
Listen, obviously, if it was porn, it's a different level of awful.
You know,
but it doesn't make it any less awful. If I'm sitting at a job and some dude whips out a fucking birth video, I'm gonna be offended.
You know, there's a really fucking easy way to prevent this misunderstanding. Super fucking easy way to prevent this misunderstanding. You go up to Blake Lively and you're like, hey, I would like to show you a video of my wife's home birth. Would you be interested in that? And she'll say, no, thanks. Regardless of what her answer is, she's at least in understanding at first and not getting surprised, thinking that you're showing her porn. What kind of fucking maniac doesn't set up what he's going to show somebody? Oh my God, here's my naked wife. In any context, that's fucking weird.
It's an extremely strange thing to feel comfortable about doing, let alone doing without somebody's fucking prior permission.
Can't fucking get over it. Okay.
It's crazy.
So this next part.
Yes.
This is what so he's answering. I'm just picking up in the middle. Sorry, this is the lawyer questioning. This is what Miss Lively said. So you're disputing Miss Sachs's memory? So Alex Sachs, I didn't know, was a female. I didn't know this the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay, so producer Alex Sachs, the lawyer's question. So you're disputing her memory. Jamey Heath says, I don't mean to dispute anybody's memory, okay? I can't just only tell you what had happened. Sorry, I can only just
tell you what happened. Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know why I'm...
Get it together, Angela.
I need to. Okay. I don't mean to dispute anybody's memory, okay? I can just only tell you what had happened. That's not. And then the lawyer goes, did Miss Lively discuss the trailer incident? He said, she did bring it up, yeah. Question, what did she say about it in your memory? Answer, he said, after she had said something about it, as I said, that she thought the video at first was porn, recognized that it wasn't because it was not. She then said, also, you know, when you came into the trailer a couple of weeks, I asked you to look away, and at some point, you made eye contact with me. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. She said, I'm not saying you were trying to cop a look. I'm just saying that I had asked you to turn away, and you made eye contact with me. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize that, because I happened to glance through conversation. I have no memory of it, and then she moved on to the next. And it cuts off. On what planet? Who raised you? I don't understand how you have somebody who's like, I feel vulnerable. You've asked to be invited into the room. I will say yes on the condition that you turn away. and you don't just like make sure that you do that? I'm sorry, I don't understand this person. How is he a boss of anybody? How's he in charge of anything, this guy?
Yeah, I just don't understand
How
why
does he work
would
with other people?
Look, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Let's just begin with that. Like, he just really shouldn't have been there. Why is he with a gang of people outside her trailer? It's beyond me. And he shouldn't be in the fucking trailer anyway. But the turning away, like, I'm not sure I understand it. Like, why wouldn't he have just turned around? Why wouldn't he have just, like, when she says turn away, like, is it this? And then he, like, looked back because he's, like, got the habit of turning his head. Because if you're trying to prevent yourself from looking at somebody who doesn't want to be looked at, why wouldn't you just turn away? Like, here's the thing about this particular offense. If you want to, like, bring it down to something minor, right, where it was incidental, that he could, in fact, forget about it, that it didn't have any kind of, peeping Tom kind of, connotations on it or intentions to it. I still don't understand why it happened. I still don't understand why I wasn't in a position to completely look away. And then also, like, the acknowledgement of it being uncomfortable for her. It doesn't sound like his version of it does not sound like a major event. If by major event, I mean, like, she can be like, dude, what the fuck? And it suffice. Now, like, in terms of his description of it, because he's describing her as saying, you looked me in the eye. So if I caught you looking me in the eye and I'm compromised in some way, I would be uncomfortable in that moment. I would also be watching your eyes very closely.
God.
And so, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm very interested in seeing Blake's answer to this.
The guy who runs up to Blake to show her a video, unsolicited,
yes,
unapproved.
That shit's fucking crazy,
right? But that was on May 23rd.
Yes.
He had this incident in the trailer on May 16th.
Yeah.
It's just fucking weird.
I think this is what happened, right? Is that she has these incidents that just together become a multitude become one bigger problem,
Okay, here's this next one picks up. So this is the middle of an answer. He goes that there were other ones, and then he's quoting to BL and her or her employees. He goes, so yeah, we talked about that.
Hang on one second. I gotta interrupt you and start this over if you would. Hey, 1-2 gossip. Don't do that in this chat, okay? Like, it's not because he's black. There's no racism involved in this. Nobody's talking racism in this case.
Nobody said anything about
so don't bring racism to the conversation or we're going to ban you. You can hang out and you can opine for your Lord and Savior, but do not start putting that kind of garbage out into the chat or you'll get banned because we're not going to have that, bro. All right? No racism. Stick to the facts. Stick to your opinions. You don't have to be mean about it. No one's being mean here. You don't have to be mean about it. You can say Blake Lively's a shit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying don't start doing crap like, implicating.
Okay, let's continue.
Racism. Yeah. And you don't know shit about Hollywood. I'm sure of it. Go.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, yeah.
Okay. That there were other ones. So this just picks up in the middle of his answer. To BL and her or her employees is a quote. He goes, so yeah, we talked about that video again where she had brought it up. Question. So you talked about the video, but, and the lawyer stops her saying, can you let him finish? So Jamey Heath finishes. So we talked about the video. We didn't talk about the details of it. We just brought up again that video was shown. Again, I apologized to her, recognizing that she was surprised by it. But this wasn't written, but that topic was. So no more mention of Baldoni or Heath's previous pornography addiction. I don't have a pornography addiction, so certainly she would have never read that, and I don't know what that refers to. So no, that was not discussed. The attorney is asking, did she talk about Mr. Baldoni's referencing pornography addiction during this meeting? And Jamey Heath said, I believe she mentioned something about it. And the lawyer continues, okay, did she talk about wanting to, neither her nor her employees, to hear personal experiences of other people's sex lives, including as it relates to spouses or others? And we don't get to hear the answer of that.
Hang on one second. This person's now calling me a racist, so I'm just going to ban them. Hang on.
It's funny because the racism is not an allegation in any of these lawsuits.
That's a useless human being that's
like
gone.
The lawsuit isn't making that. So Justin Baldoni has been accused of racial discrimination before, but that was the Shane Norman lawsuit.
Yeah.
That's not at issue in this lawsuit. And if you're bringing it up, it just means that you don't have the facts that support, like you should be able to make your point and,
Right.
support your bro without resorting to things that aren't
No.
even at issue in this lawsuit.
That's a Jed Wallace. This is a Jed Wallace account, clearly.
Okay.
Because they're coming with hate. They're coming with
continue?
venom. Yeah, please do.
Okay, so question. And you've given me a full scope of your memory about what was discussed in that 5 or 6 hours. So this is picking up in the middle of nowhere, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The witness goes, no, a lot of it was Ryan belittling Justin. Question, for 5 or 6 hours? He said a lot of it was. Question, and when you say belittling, what do you mean by that?
I guarantee you that's not true.
5 or 6 hour meeting?
I guarantee you that Ryan Reynolds did not sit there and berate him for any multitude of hours. That didn't happen.
You don't think that they hosted this whole crew of people from the film at their penthouse for 5 or 6 hours?
No, I'm saying that it wasn't him
That
holding.
seems like a long time.
Maybe it did last that long. That doesn't seem like a very long time. I'll tell you, man, these moments can seem forever. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't Ryan Reynolds holding court the whole time.
Impossible, right?
No, it's not. It's the most ridiculous. I mean, just common sense tells you.
Okay, question. And when you say belittling, what do you mean by that? Jamey Heath answers, when she first started reading a couple of her things and Justin was hearing this, taking this in and trying to make sense of it, he was frozen by hearing this stuff. And instead of, well, let me not say instead of, and his reaction was that he was being a coward. That what you do when a woman says this to you and points out these things, you just stand up and you just apologize and apologize. And Justin was just like, but I didn't do this. And then he raised his voice and used some language and insinuated that he was not a good guy. Question, that Mr. Baldoni was not a good guy, and then it cuts off. We don't get to hear any more of that. Okay, this next page.
It's interesting just to comment on it a little bit, because to me, that's like when you hear that idea that he said that, Justin Baldoni is not a good guy. Like, I just don't think that they understand the responsibility that came with the persona of the brand and the image that they put forward. They put forward an image of being a place where women should feel immensely safe, if not liberated, to be around.
Actively against toxic masculinity.
Actively against toxic masculinity.
Yes.
They by their own actions, by the virtue of the brand that they embraced and the message that they put out to the world and all this big gushy shit that they put in their mission statements and whatever, all of that means that they have to be held above those standards that they set for themselves, at or above those standards. So if it's just like what doesn't happen, I don't think what's being recognized appropriately here is that these people they're the ones who set the standards high. Nobody else did. Nobody walked in and said, these people, you're going to be against toxic masculinity. It's not like you're showing up to a Johnny Depp set. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you show up to a Johnny Depp set, or even a Leonardo DiCaprio set potentially, you might think at least, or be wary of the fact that there might be some kind of conduct that might be unbecoming or unprofessional or whatever, as opposed to these guys who have set a stage and a standard that they're this place where women should be able to feel safe. And I just think it's really important because people want to be upset at her for having these high standards for them.
He also didn't describe what belittling. I didn't see anything that meant belittling. I mean, is he just being fucking verbose? Look, is he just being fucking hyperbolic?
Because it's not. He's being subjective.
So here's the thing: is Ryan Reynolds believes that when he said I didn't do these things, that he's calling his wife a liar, right? So Ryan Reynolds believes that there's no way that his wife, who he believes to be navigating this to the best of her abilities,
who he believes to be an honest, kind, loving, caring person who wants the best for everybody around her, right? Like, just assume this guy has these kinds of feelings for his wife.
And this is a meeting about the 17-point document where she was like, these are the changes that need to be made. And when Wayfair brought those changes to Sony, saying, hey, the Sony producers being like, hey, what do you think about that? They were like, these are changes that should have been made. This is everything except for adding another producer. All of this whole list is something that Sony was saying. They're like, absolutely, no question, this should have already been done. All of this stuff.
It's weird because they don't understand, like, okay, if you're sitting around talking about your porn addiction, you're not making a safe place for women. If you're sitting around talking about your sexuality in any context whatsoever, even in the context of you trying to describe the character or any part of the film that you're working on,
Yeah, fucking use your head, dude.
Like if you're sitting there and working on a film, that doesn't mean that you get to relate your personal fucking life, your personal sexual preferences,
So
your struggles.
What's interesting too is that part of his motion for summary judgment is he's saying that Blake Lively shared details of her sexual past with him first, and what he's referring to, I think, is in the context of the intimacy coordinator meetings, like trying to figure out what their scene would be like. Justin Baldoni was trying to rewrite a scene in which he suggested that that the characters would have sex and that that Lily would finish and that Ryle would be like, I'm good, I don't need to, and just walk away. And he was like, that's women like that, right? Because he's trying to do this like female gaze, depiction.
Yeah.
And Blake Lively said, if that happened to me, I'd be mortified. So if that's what he's labeling as her describing her previous sexual experience for the first time, that she did it first and he only took her cue and did it himself.
It won't hold up with the judge. It won't hold up with a jury. There's nothing there.
Because
obviously.
I know that he's alleged to have said that he described the way that he and his wife have sex.
I'm absolutely sure that
which is very uncomfortable.
A postpartum mother is not going to show up and start dropping her fucking sex truths on a set. I just. Especially her, she's clearly a highly principled individual. I would be shocked. If it came out, I would just absolutely be utterly shocked. Is it possible? I mean, I don't know her, so I guess anything is possible. Do I think it's likely? Come on.
Also, I just feel like, and then he raised his voice and used some language and insinuated that he was not a good guy. I mean, he'll have to describe what belittling is, because that doesn't seem like belittling. I don't know. If you're saying you're not a good guy. Like, is he taming his language because he's in a room of strangers, or is he like neglecting to describe what actually happened? And I don't know what belittling is. I'm interested in what actually was said.
It's just, it's an objective, exaggerating. It's an objective thing, right? It's like the way somebody speaks to you might, by them, by their acts, they might, the speaker, the person speaking to the individual who thinks they're being belittled,
and this is
they see it totally differently.
This is what we know about Justin Baldoni is he perceives being wounded by people who are not wounding him.
Belittling could be just the tone of voice. It could be an intonation that he throws at the end of something, at the end of a sentence or a word. It could be the emphasis of a word. It could be any fucking thing at all that he suddenly becomes injured by. It has nothing to do with Ryan Reynolds' actual intentions or what was being said. I will once again state, though, fucking every single man and woman would want their spouse to protect them if they are making serious claims about somebody's conduct to them.
I know, you can't convince
me.
If
you didn't stand behind me when I came home with allegations, I would be absolutely crushed by that.
Yeah.
As would you in our situation. Ryan Reynolds is acting like any husband would who believes and loves his wife.
Okay, let's see what this next one's about, shall we?
And you're right. When Justin Baldoni denies it, he's stoking the fire. He's adding a bellow to the fire. He's not. Well, he's not making things calmer.
I feel for him when he says that he was frozen, because I don't tolerate confrontation very well either, and I can imagine him not knowing what to say. But denying things instead of asking more questions about how they came to these conclusions, like tell me more about what happened. Here's the thing: is that we mentioned this yesterday. But in the context it matters here, she's not going to call a meeting with all of these other producers and all the people who are on Justin Baldoni's side, bring them into her house so that she can lie to all of them.
Right.
There's all of his crew is in her house with him. He has a bunch of support, right? He's got Jamey Heath with him. He has other producers that he's been working with on his film. The people that Jamey Heath fucking carted over to her trailer that day, It's like she's not going to sit there and like make up some fucking fake accusation and then have her husband fucking yell at him in the presence of all of these people.
No.
This is exactly the kind of situation that Justin Baldoni would want if he's getting confronted with accusations. He's got all of these witnesses. He has all these people that know him and that work with him.
If you walk into a church and you start hanging out with the clergy, and the clergy starts talking with a foul mouth and explaining things like porn addiction that they have overcome or other things that would be otherwise offensive. And they start whipping out things like the birth of their child or something like that. You'd be shocked by that. And I'm using an extreme example, but it's really what I mean by all this. Like there's people are quick to jump on Blake Lively saying that these complaints don't have any weight to them, including Wayfair, Oh, well, come on. I mean, we apologize for that. As if that they didn't violate their own standards that they set for themselves. You call yourself a preacher and then you mess with the kids.
Also, they have an anti-harassment policy that they just refuse to follow. Like when
They
she was
didn't
making
even, they refused to
complaints about
read,
anything.
probably.
Yeah.
I'll bet you none of them read it.
Okay.
I bet you they had their consultant create it. They signed off on it.
Yeah, it was just
They probably did this,
they checked a box.
It's so busy. This isn't that important because why? Nobody here would ever do anything like this. This is fine. This is fine. This is good. You did great. You done good. You don't have to come in for another 3 months to pick up your check. It's okay.
Where do I send the check?
Yeah.
Okay. Question. This picks up a few pages later, okay?
Yeah.
Did you discuss with Mr. Baldoni hiring Jed Wallace of Street Relations? Jamey Heath says, I don't recall. I don't remember.
Can you see the question again?
Did you discuss with Mr. Baldoni hiring Jed Wallace of Street Relations? He said, I don't recall. I don't remember.
That is a lie.
Because he said, I don't recall. I don't remember.
It starts with the lawyer's instruction of like, if you don't remember exactly when or what, that is a lie. There's no way they don't remember that. That's a key player in this.
I know.
It's absurd. It's just so insulting.
Did you discuss with anyone else at Wayfair that Mr. Wallace was what Mr. Wallace was being hired to do? He said, I may have. Did you discuss it with Mr. Sarowitz? Jamey Heath says, I don't have a particular memory of it, but I may have. I don't know. The guy who's paying for all of this.
It's just this is where they lie and they lose credibility across the board.
Also,
you just cannot believe anything they say if they're going to say these lies.
Also, yesterday,
Street fucking wise didn't fucking show up out of nowhere. They didn't hire Street Relations. They didn't show up there. They didn't hire themselves. They didn't fucking they didn't like attach themselves. And he just finished describing his job as being at the top and fucking signing off on all the major fucking acquisitions. That's not a minor acquisition. He is lying through his teeth.
Also, yesterday, Mr. Sarowitz didn't know.
Come on, man.
He was not involved in any of these decisions, according to him. He didn't know anything about anything. But he could answer the question about how Jed Wallace was only doing monitoring. That was something he did know. So it really does make it completely not credible that he has such ignorance about all things, but he did know the answer to that
It's
question.
entirely incredible that he would not know about every strategy going forward to protect the studio.
Did you discuss it with Mr. Sarowitz? Jamey Heath says, I don't have a particular memory of it, but I may have. I don't know. Did you receive an email outlining the work that Mr. Wallace would be doing for Wayfair? Objection to form. The witness, Jamey Heath says, I believe there was an email that came in that I only know about more recently, but I never looked at it. This is a lie. He's responding to that email. He's asking follow-up questions.
Can you read it again? I'm sorry, I got a little distracted.
Did you receive an email outlining the work that Mr. Wallace would be doing for Wayfair? I have seen this email, and I have seen Jamey Heath's response to it.
Okay.
And he is detailed and asking questions about it.
Okay.
He says, I believe there was an email that came in. I only know about it more recently, but I never looked at it. Ezra Hudson's asking,
they're impeached, according to you.
Ezra Hudson said, you didn't look at it? He said, I did not. Did it come to you? He said, I believe my email was on it, yes. You believe it did come to you? He said, I believe so. He said, but Ezra Hudson's saying, but you're saying, and then he continues, only because I've learned more recently. And that's cut off.
So he's pretending that he got it and didn't decide to open it.
Somehow he responded to he was asking specific questions. What it was basically was an itemized list of what he was paying for. So Jamey Heath was going to be sent an invoice, and he was like, let me know what I'm paying for because this is a lot of money. And so he asked specifically, does the $30K include this, or is this in addition to the $30K?
I remember that.
Yeah. So he's asking specific questions about this itemized list that is supposed to accompany the invoice. So I don't know what he is claiming here, but it doesn't seem like the evidence supports it. Okay. This next page is page 39. Ezra Hudson is asking by whom. We don't know what the context is. And Jamey Heath says, by the production supervisor, I believe Alex Sachs. Question. Alex Sachs told you that employee complaints should be brought to the line AD and production supervisor. Sorry, that's a question. Alex Sachs told you that employee complaints should be brought to the line AD and production supervisor. Jamey Heath says, I don't know specifically. I just know that they were saying if there's anything that needed to be any concerns that they would report to them. That was standard protocol. Question. That's what that's what Ms. Sachs told you? Answer, at some point, yes. Question. And did she say that was that was her understanding of the protocol with respect to human resources concerns on an independent film? Jamey Heath says, I don't recall beyond that. Question. You don't recall beyond that? So you don't recall her specifically saying human resources concerns of employees should be brought to the line AD and production supervisor? He said, I don't recall that. Question. The training that you referenced, did you attend in person? He said it was a Zoom that I attended. Did you attend in person? His answer is the individual giving it was on Zoom, so I was in person on the computer, but he was on Zoom.
It's a little bit of an irritating question.
Question. You were in person on a computer? He said the training was remote. The individual giving the training was remote, so I was in front of my computer on the training. Question. So you were not in a room with the other cast and crew, is that right? He said no. So she's like, not in person then. Question. Was the other cast and crew assembled in a room for the training? Do you know? He said, I don't know. And where were you physically located when you took it? His answer is, I was at the production offices in New Jersey. In an office? Correct. And do you have any record of having? And it gets cut off.
So this is they're taking their policy video thing? Is that what that is?
This is, she's asking about the training that you referenced. Did you attend in person? I'm assuming
it's got to be some HR training, I guess.
Training.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is interesting. This seems like he may have contradicted himself.
Why?
Question. Alex Sachs told you that employee complaints should be brought to the line AD and production supervisor. He said, I don't know specifically. I just know that they were saying that if there's anything that needed to be any concerns, that they would report to them. That was standard protocol. And then down the page, it says, you don't recall beyond that. So you don't recall her specifically saying human resources concerns of employees should be brought to the line AD and production supervisor. He said, I don't recall that. But he just said, I just know that they were saying if there's anything that needed to be any concerns that they would report to them.
So it's just maybe it's general versus particular instance.
Okay.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's the end of this file. So that's the end of the Jamey Heath depositions that were provided in the motion for summary judgment by Wayfarer. That's all that they wanted us to know about Jamey Heath's deposition in regards to their motion for summary judgment.
Well, I can't wait to hear Blake Lively's because that was, that didn't help them. Again, it just doesn't help them. There's nothing there that helps them. What are they hoping for out of that? Because as far as the summary judgment goes, I'm trying to figure out where there was any value. The only thing in that whole read. Thank you for reading.
Yeah.
The only thing in that whole thing that has me. That I suppose I don't know how to describe it. I guess it gives me pause, but doesn't really give me pause. It just begs for further definition. Is the looking away in the trailer? First of all, he's lying through his teeth. He says that he assembled all those people to go to the trailer to schedule a meeting for the next day, and I don't believe that for a minute. There's no way that's true. There's no way that you're going to go grab all the important people in the movie, from Sony right down to the director, and march to the trailer to schedule a movie for the next day. So he was going there to have the meeting with her. Clearly.
Yes, but it's there.
I mean, it'd be weird. I guess the only imagined scenario could be, okay, well, hey guys, just in case she wants to have the meeting, come with me. I'm going to try and reschedule it. But what an egregious use of other people's time.
I know.
Like, it just doesn't seem
the only thing I can imagine.
It's like high school almost.
I know. The only thing I can imagine is that they were all planning on going to dinner later, or they all carpooled or something. So they all had to walk around together like little penguins.
Hey, we're going to do this tomorrow, but we're all together anyway because we're all heading over to Jerry's.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm just interested because there's a lot of contradiction between her story, his story. It seems like. So we've only read Stephen Sarowitz, Jamey Heath, and their stories do not line up. And then just in a few places. And I think that, so next, the other depositions that they provided were Justin Baldoni's. There's several pages of that. There's fewer pages of Jen Abel, Melissa Nathan, and Tara Hanks.
So maybe we just do all those Monday.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see if anybody wants to talk about it in the chat. So sorry to Cosmic Urgency for always talking about the thing he doesn't want to talk about.
Feldbauming says, between Lively and Reynolds, they have more than 50 years in the industry. Imagine trying to explain to these guys how out of the ordinary their on-set behavior has been. It is the part that I don't think people want to recognize, you know, these, in particular, those backing Baldoni and Heath. They know how to be on a set. They know how to conduct themselves on a set. They also been at the top of the food chain on a set, so they know what to expect in terms of the things that they want versus what they can get. They know they're gonna, you know, it's a very interesting scenario. But to me, it's pretty easy. Like there's a history with these guys getting complaints and not doing anything about it, and here we have the same situation again. And the origin of her complaints, I think it's so important. The context is so important because if you go in expecting, you know, safety, opportunity, equal, equality, if you go in and you have these expectations going forward, and that's a part of the decision. That's a part of what made the decision for you to come on board at production. And like make no bones about it. Like she not only brought herself, which was obviously a big fucking deal. They gave her 10 points gross. So all these people who want to show up and shout about how Blake Lively is the fucking A-list star and she wasn't an A-list star then, they gave her 10 points gross.
No, this like
Ain't nobody getting 10 points gross that isn't at the top of the food chain.
I love those.
Nobody. First of all, gross isn't even a word that can even be entertained unless you already have an immense amount of box office under your belt.
I love those arguments too because it's like Schrodinger's star, you know, like she's simultaneously like not worth a damn and also has so much power that she can control Sony.
A 10,000 employee studio.
Like simultaneously, like it can't both be true. You know,
it's
that
insanity.
She was like powerful enough to take over the movie, but she was absolutely nobody, nothing before Justin Baldoni hired her.
So they both have like, yeah, I mean, you know, at this time, they are both over 50 years in combined experience at this time and juncture in show business. They're you know, many of those years at the very top. I mean, decades at the top combined. So they understand the process. They know what's up. It's just this is the problem that they run into is that they're up against, you know, people who have a deep rooted and very and a very solid reputation, and every single movie star has people talking shit. When I was in Hollywood, I heard people talking bad about Jack Nicholson. I heard people talking bad about Dustin Hoffman. I heard people talking bad about fucking Robin Williams. I heard people talk bad about fucking everybody, especially Chuck Norris. All right.
But they wouldn't to his face.
But they sure wouldn't to his face.
Kicked.
But
okay, Stacey R said, Baldively all day, every day. Cannot shout about this injustice enough.
Yeah, that must have been in response to Cosmic Urgency. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think this is a really, in its own way, it's a really important case, man. I mean, you know, this is, for me, obviously revealing a lot of the shit that I've gone through and that I will still go through. These guys have suppressed my book incredibly. I mean, this book is a good book. No, but
specifically, this case, you're learning a lot about the smear campaign against you in Hollywood and
the ability to like take down stories. Like people are trying to write about my story. They want to write about my story at major publications, but they're getting taken down.
You're also, being able to reframe for in this case what you went through with your celebrity lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
And that you actually had a movie stolen. And what it looks like to actually have your movie stolen.
Right.
Where at the end of it, you don't make the millions of dollars and get to still claim all the credit and all the ownership of your film.
Nope.
Like Justin Baldoni currently gets to do.
Yeah.
So he's claiming that his movie was stolen, but he cannot prove that he lost anything, right?
He in fact lost nothing.
Yeah, you on the other hand did lose.
He gained immensely.
Like.
He gained immensely.
That's what it looks like when somebody actually steals.
It's still a film by Justin Baldoni, directed by Justin Baldoni. He is a producer on the movie, and he's ahead of the studio that produced the movie. You know, and this was the biggest problem with this whole fucking mess. These guys bit off more than they could fucking chew. And then Jamey Heath is an incompetent producer. And his testimony in his own defense proves that.
Well, here's the thing.
Why would a producer need to have a gang of people behind them? I wouldn't take a gang of people.
No, I know, but listen. I'm saying, like, maybe they were going to go to TGI Fridays or something afterwards. Who knows? I don't fucking know.
Then they would have said so.
Listen, Jamey Heath did the right thing, I guess, when he let Blake Lively into the editing bay. Even though
he did not do the right thing.
No, but what I'm saying is what happened was that Sony got the theatrical cut that they wanted, that Blake Lively got to attach all those assets because she was involved early, you know? Like they actually ended up making a movie that earned Wayfair so much money. So maybe those mistakes that Jamey Heath turned out to be good business decisions.
No, they weren't. They were bad business decisions. It was never a good idea to do that. She could have still been involved in the note process. It's about going through the proper process. You don't fucking give notes. You know, I think a nightmare for a writer is when people ask for pages. You know what I mean? It's just like, for me, I'd be like, no, you're not going to get pages. How could pages possibly? I would be terrified to give you pages. Pages have something before it and something after it, right? Either by intention or actually already written. So pages, God no. I want to give you the whole script. You read the whole script. You get the experience. It's it's I think more important for integrity in those situations than allowing So no, I mean.
Okay, let's hear from the chat.
Yeah.
A scientist said, although Friedman had already been aware of Wayfarer and their deep pockets, so it's also possible that Friedman tipped Nathan off to the potential client. Because remember, Nathan brought on Friedman.
Well, and they're brought up. They're brought up. There's a conversation where we should get Friedman involved.
Yeah, right.
And this is like in August.
Right. And Friedman knows Baldoni and knows that they've got deep pockets for a lawsuit.
He's fucking lying. I believe
that's really interesting.
I think they're the biggest marks in fucking Hollywood. I think what happened was they were just these marks, and they used Blake Lively as this their linchpin, this sort of centerpiece to focus their grift.
Yep.
They created a grift, man. Well, they saw it was like, I think they saw the opportunity. The opportunity wasn't created by like convincing somebody like Justin Baldoni to act inappropriately on the set, or Jamey Heath to fucking drop the ball, however many times he dropped the ball with Blake Lively. Those are all boneheaded fucking moves by these guys, but everyone's looking around going, oh, fuck, this is a gold mine. They had no idea they were going to turn it into, the epic fucking PR battle of the century. But that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. Trial of the century. This is the PR battle of the century. It's costing tens and tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, it might change everything.
People are getting fucking rich off of it, and it might change everything.
Well, scientists said it also, having a Baha'i set also means that non-Baha'i people working on the set are outsiders that will automatically be disbelieved when conflict arises.
This is I had the fortune of producing the Christian film that I was on. If I wasn't at the top of the food chain, I think I would have hated every minute of it.
Oh my God, listen. A scientist said, so we definitely know, because we're reading Jamey Heath's deposition today, we definitely know now why Wayfarer tried to walk back using Heath as the Wayfarer representative for these depositions.
Yeah, he's really bad at answering
questions. They were like, guys, we have done some deposition prep, and it is not looking good with Jamey Heath. Maybe we could just say that he wasn't in charge after all.
Well, I'm very excited to see the depositions that helped her case. The portions of the deposition that helps her case. I know they're not going to file a summary judgment because they're taking this thing to trial. Yeehaw. We're going live for the trial, bro. Listen, I'm going to work very hard to try and align with some creators. I want to be able to put together like a panel of people that'll come up throughout each day and come in and plug their channel and everything that they're doing, and just collaborate. We'll do the same for others. But I really want to join up with some folks.
Speaking of other creators, Whack-A-Mile is asking, have you looked at the Popcorn Planets coverage versus Blake Lively's documents? She isn't letting up on them.
Yeah, well, look, he's making a documentary on her, and it's a disparaging documentary that we know is obviously meant to, bolster Baldoni's story. So I think that she's going to go after him with every bit that she can. He's poked a wasp's nest, man, and he's going to get stinged all over. It's a mess. He's a mess. He's just not a reliable source.
Right.
It's very clear that this guy, I believe that he blew up on the Blake. This is my opinion only. I believe that he blew up on Depp v. Heard because they thought his content was good, and then they just said, hey, let's make a deal. And they started promoting his content. So the way it works is these publicists can come in and, like, for example, Blake Lively's publicist, hello, could come to us and be like, hey, we're going to promote your stuff. And then they pay YouTube, and YouTube starts pumping it out to people. And you can do it organically anyway. And I'm sure he did have, some organic value to his material and to his channel. But I'm very curious to find out whether or not his stuff was actually paid and boosted.
You're like, I'm also very curious to figure out whether or not that would be nice for me.
Oh, I would love it. I would accept it in a minute. I would not turn it down, but I would turn it down if it was Baldoni.
If it was conditional, yeah.
Yeah, no, if Justin Baldoni was like,
if it
hey.
was conditional, if they were like, no, we really do need you to lie about this.
Oh, especially that. Like, even if Blake Lively was like, yeah, we just want you to like say that the kiss was this. And it was like, but it wasn't, right? Because the testimony is that. So, you know what I mean?
Stacey R is saying, Stacey R said, wonder if the HR woman will be called. Most certainly. I don't know how she could avoid it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If she will be called if they want to demonstrate that that there was no true HR mechanism, that the hotline was a bullshit number, that no one was really informed and understood what the hotline did. How, like, what's a hotline to me is it's like that's a little, you got to be specific about that, what that is, who runs it, like,
I'm not going to feel
third party
in an antagonistic position with my employer calling their hotline.
Correct.
And telling them my issue.
Hi.
I know.
Wayfair's HR hotline, please leave a message. Beep.
Happiness in your life is saying LOL at Peg Bundy or Lily Tomlin.
Yeah.
A scientist said that Jamey Heath was there to burp and swaddle Baldoni.
Yeah, that's hilarious. It really is that way. This guy is just a big fucking child, and he's got to be the center of attention. I knew this the minute that I watched that proposal video. He made that all about him. It had nothing to do with Emily. It had nothing to do with making her feel special. He ended up putting a camera on her that she had to then react to the things he was doing
the whole time.
It
was agonizing.
I mean, oh God, what a fucking horrible thing to do to somebody. And she did that also that he could make a reel of all of his extraordinary talent.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucked up, man. And it was just like, to me, and it was 30 minutes long. It wasn't even like a 10-minute video, which is already long enough. He did it for 30 fucking minutes, bro.
She couldn't ever just be like this on her phone.
Yeah, she couldn't be like, oh God,
the
because everybody's watching her, cameras on. She knows he's coming to propose at this point. It's obvious. It's just the guy's a fucking an absolute disaster. And by the way, if I was Emily and somebody did that shit to me, I'd be like, I'll think about it. Like,
yeah, right.
That would not be a whole, like, I know, I'd be like the
cliffhanger ending.
What's the other thing is like, that's it, like almost like getting, doing the stadium proposals. What can I do where she can't say no?
Yeah, right.
Okay,
listen.
Yeah.
Happiness in your life has this really sweet thing to say about us.
Oh, thank you.
You ready?
Thank you in advance.
Happiness in your life said, I love your podcast because when you disagree with each other, you do so with respect and try to understand each other, even if you still don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Isn't it a shame that we can't all just do that?
I know, it's pretty easy.
It's why I get upset, because it's like you show up and you start slinging racist this and all stupid nonsense. They want to make the plantation into this like white power bullshit.
I think completely differently about accusations of racism, because I used to bristle about it and be like, man, that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about. But I've grown since then, and I recognize that it does actually have everything to do with everything we're always talking about. That there is constantly always the subject of racism pervading every single conflict that ever happens in this country, especially. But it's just it's just not useful, or it's just like a strange way to make an argument, when what we're doing here is discussing facts in a case, in a lawsuit. And
that's not what happened.
That's not an element.
That's not what happened. Gossip showed up, and Gossip directly accused.
Yes, I know. We don't have to litigate.
I'm just saying, I'm not litigating. I'm just saying there's a difference than just being like, hey, racism's a pervasive problem in America. Well, fuck, that's easy.
Well, what I'm saying is I don't always bristle anymore and be like, that has nothing to do with this. Because I'm like, does it?
Listen, if he brought up...
Let's think about it. Maybe it does.
If Gossip brought up something other than racism, if he brought up, I don't care what it was, ageism, I'd be like, that's not the fucking issue here.
Yeah, no, I know. Delicate showed up late. Hey, I forgot you guys were going live.
I know she's ripping at 1.5.
I know, it was really sweet. I can't remember.
I hate that she apologizes. You don't have to apologize for not coming to our live.
Shannon said, wait a minute, isn't today Saturday? Is it my birthday?
We are the ones who
are special edition for the deposition transcripts, says a scientist.
Yeah, we're just we're the lucky ones to have you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like we're obviously here to have fun with you guys. You guys are super fun. That's why I keep jimmying my chair to make sure you get it. Good look at Mork and Mindy.
You gotta jimmy your chair.
So anyway, fucking thank you for reading those depositions. I
It's still
can't
in
wait
the
to get
chat.
to these other ones. I'm very excited to. I can't wait till this trial. I want to. I'm working hard. I'm setting this up. I want to bring some guests in who are also following this case. I definitely want to also bring people in who are reasonable-minded human beings who want to talk about this case.
Yeah.
Who are pro Baldoni. I'd really love to hear somebody who has something centered going on to see where it falters or where I call it falters because I'm so biased, or where it separates from what I believe or what you believe.
I'm Bobo is telling us about his dinner. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
I'm Bobo just finished cooking dinner: smashed potatoes with garlic bread and pork chops.
Fucking hey, dude.
Oh my god.
I miss all the pork chops.
I'm Bobo. You got to get yourself a sous vide machine. It is the only way to enjoy pork chops.
For sure.
Pork, any kind
You
of
gotta
pork.
sear them
sous vide.
afterwards.
Yeah,
But just do them at the baby temperature, whatever it is. Like call it 133.
Yeah, like whatever the lowest safe temperature is.
Bubba's in Canada, so whatever the Fahrenheit is,
You gotta
whatever,
get a sous vide machine, bro. That's
whatever that is, like 90 degrees, 80 degrees, whatever. And then you take it from there,
We don't need a whole cooking
and then
lesson.
you do a fucking sear on that sucker. Get the fat, render some more fat. Oh my god!
Your eyes will roll.
But that sounds delicious. Congratulations.
Wackamile wants to know: are there any other pro Blake Lively channels covering this? They're all pro Baldoni. Do
Yeah.
you know of any?
No, I don't know of any.
I know that Expatriarch has a
yeah.
channel. I don't know whether he's more active.
And then there's
on,
that TikTok gal,
Recap with Julie.
Recap of Julie.
Yes.
She's all right.
Uh-huh.
She's a cool chick from Canada. I was
Yeah,
thinking about.
there's a
I
few
was thinking
more
about
on
extending an invitation out to her, like reach out to her and see if she wants to, join forces during the trial.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
She's got some great knowledge, man. She's got a
Scientist
really
has
good.
a good answer. Ophie Dokie has also done a few lives about this case. Yeah, she's on YouTube. Ophie Dokie.
So yeah, we'll find some folks. And we'll find folks that aren't necessarily content creators. They don't have to be. They can just be people who are like badass, like Junk Farm. Like Junk Farm's a dope ass dude. Like he wants to come on here and fucking drop his conspiracy theories. Let's get with it.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to believe him too.
Hey, listen, that one makes more sense than any. And this is not, again, that one's not new. That one's been floating for a long fucking time.
Okay, but let me get back to the chat.
Go ahead.
Okay, our scientist said that the day that she filmed the birthing video, where it was supposed to be closed set the entire day,
Yeah.
our scientist said they also had another Baha'i friend visiting the set that day.
Yeah. So it was the Baha'i day. So explain that.
Why that day, guys?
What the fuck, bro? You got
Weird.
dude between her legs. And then you got friends coming to watch. That's what it sounds like to me.
Lacey said, but the video doesn't even compare because a water birth does, assuming it's also a home birth, not look the same as a hospital birth.
It can't.
How would you even help guide the scene, which had been shot the day before anyway?
It's all because again, this is why I'm calling it his ego. I'm calling it he and Justin, Justin Baldoni's ego. They damaged your ego because Blake Lively made it seem as though, and appropriately so, that she was feeling like that there was an inappropriate activity going on around her, whether that is of a sexual nature or not. I can't and I won't speculate, but she definitely was uncomfortable. They sensed that, and it was all around their wanting to get her pants off.
Yeah, it's also like, okay, so she's a very wealthy woman who has had 4 births in her life. And so you think that she isn't fucking aware of her birthing options, that she doesn't know what a fucking water birth is?
But it's already, I'm talking because the scene is gone. It doesn't matter, right? The scene is gone. It's over. It's the get over it situation. And they're not over it. And why aren't they over it? They're over it. They're not over it because they think Blake Lively was walking around thinking those fucking pigs are just trying to get between my legs.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, no, it's not that. I invited my own children to get behind these legs.
The one fucking day when I asked for a closed set, look at all these people.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And Bobo said, God, sounds like a nightmare. Scientist said this is after Lively and Slate had complained to Sony. Scientist said, but Angela, they apologized.
They did, yeah. So get over it.
Scientist said there's no way that she used the word eye contact. That is just not how people speak.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to know where Blake Lively... This is why I'm very interested in Blake Lively's answer to this claim.
She's also obviously concerned about him looking at her body. So when he says, she said I made eye contact, that's him padding what he wants everybody to believe that he actually did. Like, no,
Correct.
I just looked her in the eye, and she said so too.
She said you looked me in the eye.
But she wouldn't have a problem with him making eye contact. Well, obviously, she'd have a problem if she asked him to turn around and he didn't. But what her problem is that she saw him looking at her.
Well, you know how we know that by testimony they said they said no, don't come in.
Yeah.
And he heard yes.
Yeah, well, the lawyer was
So
like, so
maybe-
the other 3 people heard differently than you,
Yeah, I
and they were
know.
down the stairs, and
Yeah, I
you were
know.
at the top by the door.
I know. So maybe she said, maybe she said, fuck, I lost my concentration.
Oh, I actually made a point for him. He was closer to the door when he knocked, and he heard somebody call from inside. If they were down by the stairs, then what they heard wasn't as close of it wasn't as audible to them because they were further.
So the thing about covering her and that stuff, that's a different instance.
It's got to be a different instance because he didn't even say there was anybody else in there with her. But why would she be nursing in the makeup trailer? Oh, maybe that's where she had her stuff there later. I mean, earlier that day? I don't know.
I don't know, or maybe they just took.
See,
the
we
press
need
secretary.
more fucking information here.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
mean,
have
I'm
enough
very interested in
information.
her side of the story for this one for sure. I can't wait for it actually.
A scientist said she also told him that she hadn't watched porn to get him to stop talking about it. And then he blurted that out to crew members later. I remember this.
Yeah.
Where he was like, well, she talked about her own porn use. And she was like, yeah, I told you I don't watch porn so that you would shut up about it. And then he goes to a bunch of crew members and he's like, guys, did you hear that she's never seen porn? Can you
Which
imagine?
is also different than I don't watch porn.
This fucking guy.
I don't drink. I used to drink crazily.
Like, he just needs to be having beers with his bros forever. Like, I hope he's just gets to be like a rich guy who runs his mouth at the bar forever instead of whatever the fuck
It's
this
also
is.
like the context of it in this situation. It's not like you're shooting fucking Dirk Diggler here. I mean, you're fucking shooting It Ends With Us. You're not shooting a fucking a movie about a porn star. The topic shouldn't have come up. Why would the topic come up in that situation?
A scientist said,
Because Ryle had a porn addiction?
yeah, I know.
It's
Of
absurd.
course not. A scientist said, I think there's another file with excerpts from Heath's deposition because there is a point where they read out an excerpt from one of the witnesses inside the trailer.
Really?
I gotta fucking find it. See,
Well,
this is the
where
thing.
the fuck did you get that?
Okay, well, I got this from
Baldoni
Baldoni
Files?
Files. Somebody made a post saying, here's the... She said that this isn't everything, but these are the highlights. But I thought that all of the links that she had
We
was
wanted
everything.
everything.
No, I know. What I'm saying is, I thought that she had provided all of the links, but then she did a longer post where she screenshotted stuff and put up and said, these are the highlights. So I thought that's what she was talking about. I thought I got everything. That's what I thought. Because it seems like a lot,
Oh,
that
bummer.
they're just referencing in there.
That sucks because I want to know everything.
I know. I want to know everything too. I'm going to keep looking. I don't have access. Like I'm not signed on to Court Listener.
If you
or
need my
something?
help, let me know. I can snoop around pretty good.
Okay. We should just download the whole fucking file. We'll just blast ourselves with this.
Well,
But
yeah.
you have to sign into.
I
Court Listener or
honestly thought
something.
we were I thought we were just going through whatever they provided. I didn't realize
I'm
that we
picking
were.
up the little gumdrops.
We're
that
cherry
other-
picking, Angela.
that
We
other
can't
people-
cherry pick, okay?
No, it's not me. I'm trying to pick up what other people drop.
I'm picking up what they're putting down.
I gotta get away from this. There's a gnat right here. Okay.
Dale, if you read some of the other exhibits, he wanted to shoot an R-rated movie, while all the women were like, no. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
they have supporting, and I've seen it. Texts from Angie and Eddie.
Angie and Eddie is working
Yes.
with Sony, and she's saying. So her question is, would Colleen Hoover be opposed to an R-rated movie because we think that you should do it? And he's like, I don't know. Let me ask.
I mean, she said hot, sexy, or hot,
Yes.
like racy, or some. She said, it sounded.
I think because the
R-rated, hot R-rated.
I think these studios are like, well, 50 Shades of Grey was like a super, a very profitable product. So maybe they wanted to make it more spicy.
I think they're like, get it in the can and then we'll take it from there. That's what I think it is. I think it's just like, get it in the can if you can. I think it's more like, here's what that sounded more like to me. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Out of context, that may sound like Angie and Eddie out of nowhere, and on behalf of the studio, is asking for more R-rated and sexy, explicit material. In a grander or a wider view of that conversation, you might have a situation where Justin Baldoni is saying, "Hey, I would really kind of want to make it more true to the book, where there's like more sex and more of the R-rated stuff." And because when you look at Angie and Eddie talking about Colleen Hoover being potentially the problem for the PG-13.
Well, it's weird
So
too. Because
what I'm saying is like it, they want to present it as though Sony was like, hey, man, we want porn. And they're like, well, okay, then porn it is.
It's a strange thing to try and figure out because you haven't read the book, but I read the book and it is really shocking how
I stand with Blake.
Colleen Hoover's language, like she does write explicit sex scenes.
Yeah,
okay?
they all do. That's how those.
And
books
what's
take
so
off.
weird is that she'll use weird language, like really.
You don't have to.
No.
You read one to me, and I shuddered.
She uses language that you would. It's just like.
Why?
It's not.
That's not hot.
Descriptive. It's just like harsh.
Yeah.
She uses really weird language,
Yeah.
but it's very explicit.
Yes.
So anyway, I guess that's where they got that from. So it's so strange that they're asking whether Colleen Hoover would want it to be an R-rated instead of PG-13, because Colleen Hoover wrote really racy scenes.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she wants that to go out on screen. She can have written racy screens
It
and
seems
not.
a little strange that she wouldn't want like the story she wrote to be depicted on the screen.
I don't understand why she would opine on it at all, or why she would even have a say in it, which is weird.
I did show you some screenshots of the book because I was just like, because I helped you with editing your book.
Yeah.
And we were always talking about word choices, and I was like, Dale, get a load of this. I just like came in here, like, it's just like really. I guess I just don't understand this like romance genre, because sometimes people really enjoy the spicy content, but I always just imagine that it would be like more nice to read, more pretty, like the language you could use, the word choices you could decide on could be a lot more attractive.
Well, we're there's some folks out there that I feel like I can actually talk to, and maybe they'll be able to help us with whatever discovery is coming down the pipeline, because I really want to make sure that we're getting all the stuff that we can cover, so that our channel is like thorough as possible, and not like highlighting, because I don't want to be accused of cherry picking on this channel. I want to like get it all out and discuss it.
Do you want to hear one?
Yeah.
From the book? This is why I think it's weird.
Oh, KK says, by the way, hello KK474. Good to see you. He says, Baldoni and Sarowitz said that in their deposition, the book was full of sex. Colleen disagreed.
It's really weird because here's one scene.
Yeah.
Okay. This is at the end of a section. They're having makeup sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I spread my legs for him, and his sorrow comes in another form, slow, apologetic thrusts inside of me. Every time he enters me, he whispers another apology. And by some miracle, every time he pulls out of me, my anger leaves with him. And I just remember running in here.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
Because you were in the office, and I was like, Dale, she said apologetic thrusts.
Apologetic thrusts.
I was like, what is that? Is that the name of my new band? I don't understand what that phrase is. What is that? What is an apologetic thrust?
What's interesting about that is that
picture that?
It's interesting that Colleen might, like, for example, not call that R-rated, because it isn't.
It's so R-rated. What are you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you, because when you film that...
I was clutching the pearls the whole time I was reading this.
Clutch them as I tell you, then, that the way you would shoot that, you would have close-ups. The thrust would be nothing we've never, nothing you would call R.
Yeah, but he's whispering.
I'm sorry.
Apologies.
I'm sorry. So he's whispering. So that's not gross.
No, it's not. I'm saying for your close-up, like that's how you.
Yeah, it's like in the ear, coming out, thrusters. That's easily not R-rated. And when you read that to me, as much as I understand the shudders, that's what I visualized. What's because so of the whispers.
Is that nobody clocked that this guy who, Justin Baldoni, who admitted that he struggles with a porn addiction, right?
Yes.
He's like in recovery for porn addiction.
Yeah.
And he said that for years in public statements. So when he wanted to adapt this movie, nobody was like, hey, like, let's have a talk about whether you are seeing this through your porno lens or whether you're seeing this through this female gaze that you seem to want. Do you think is important?
Yeah, that you think is so important.
It's a little bit suspicious where you're just like, let's figure out where the parameters are, where your taste for the kind of content you like to consume stops and this project begins, Yeah.
To be sure, though,
apologetic thrust is just so funny to me.
Apologetic thrust is very funny.
I was like,
but that's well written, and that isn't R-rated writing at all. R-rated writing is when you start like involving genitals, and you start involving other appendages like your tongue and all this other stuff, and you're doing explicit descriptions with those that include things that are obviously explicit about genitals and so on and so forth. These are, to me, R-rated writings, not like where you're poetically thrusting your prose around a hot moment between two people. That, to me, I would not, if I wrote that, consider myself writing R-rated material. Instead, I would consider myself writing a sex scene.
Okay, so A Scientist has the scoop.
Yeah.
Said Hoover told him that explicit sex is awkward for the audience in the theater, and this is true. I definitely fucking shriek. And
I don't like it either. I'm not there for that.
I want to be like pocket sized.
And you're hanging out with your girlfriends and sometimes your mom, maybe even your daughter.
Totally. She says that spicy content is different in books than film.
It is.
She said there were like 3 sex scenes, and one was even added at the request of her
It's so
editor.
interesting she says that, because women's porn is these books by and far, by and large. Like men, they run to Pornhub or whatever, and women, they don't. They read it.
Kiki.
For time of memoriam. By the way, my mother, addicted to that stuff. She used to have, brown paper bags filled with novellas, Harlequin novellas. She read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Romance novels?
Yeah, you ever see them?
I think that's adorable.
They're like little novellas. They're like little novellas. They're like 100, 120 pages.
Yeah.
And it's just about a girl meeting a guy and getting laid. And they're just ripping through them. And sometimes they're executives and sometimes they're pool boys and whatever. I did read 1 or 2 of them. I couldn't get through any of them.
Oh, really?
It just not for me, bro. Like, there's so much money to be made in this genre that like, and like a lot of people have throw out the advice of just like, hey, drop writing your passion projects and start writing to market because the money's sick. I knew a girl who who released her book basically the same day as mine. And she made in 1 month what I've made this entire year. And what is it but a racy romancy?
Kiki, thank you so much for telling me that it's on the docket, because I didn't know
where
to
Kiki,
find.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know where to find this. So Kiki says Baldoni sent notes to the intimacy coordinator, and she tried to tone it down, reminding him for the need to get Blake's view.
Okay.
And then our scientist said, and she had to edit the word groping out of what he wanted to be sent to.
Yeah, I
Larry.
heard that.
So this is on the docket, and I didn't know because I'm definitely eager to read these. I'm going to look for this all tomorrow, and hopefully by Monday I've got more of this stuff for you guys.
Great. Yeah, I really want to get into that. That's super important.
Yeah.
Groping. That's his choice of word.
Yeah.
And look, we know this because when you look at all the rest of his stuff, he says the same damn things.
Yeah.
He says that I mean,
I'm not going to get on his case for saying groping. I know what he's picturing, and women like to be groped. They don't call it groping, I don't think, but
yeah.
That's like
strong hands. They call it strong
small
hands.
Thing. That's like really nitpicky. I'm not going to get on his case about that.
All right, guys, we're going to be back on Monday. Tomorrow is the day off. Go Eagles, fly Eagles, fly, man. 8:20.
See what happens.
National television,
Go
NBC.
Birds.
You guys are the best. I hope that you guys got some value out of tonight. We really do appreciate you coming by. Holy shit, you guys were here an average of 30 minutes per person.
Sweet.
It's insane. All right, guys, we'll see you Monday. Thank you for coming out on Saturday. Good night. Good night.
Good night.